Falcon fans, Falcon fans, Falcon fans. Wow, wow, wow. Uh, uh, what a end of the year. You're hearing some feedback. Sorry about that. What an end of the year, right? What an end of the year. Um this is just a quick vent session. Whoever wants to join can join. Probably be here for an hour, and there's no script to this event. What up, A1? How you doing, man? All well? I dropped the link in the other chat you're in, so if you want to hop on A1, it's cool. If not, I get it. But yeah, man. So look, we lost. For those of you who don't know, Falcons played the Panthers today. We end up losing in overtime, 44 to 38. Um, the Bucks won anyway, so it's not like we were going to get into the playoffs, but you just didn't want to go out like that, right? You did not want to go out like that. So, let's get to the good parts, right? Falcons scored 38 points, the most they've scored all year. Penix looked great. Penix looked unstoppable. Bijan looked unstoppable. Tyler Algier looked unstoppable. And if you're looking for some positives to kind of hang your hat on for next year, this offense looks like it's cooking. The defense couldn't stop anybody today, and it looked like Jimmy Lake took a step back. And I know that Bryce was good on the blitz, but on that last overtime drive, I felt like, it's now or never. What do you got to lose? You're already out of the playoffs. Let's go for it. You probably could have blitzed there. We didn't. And it was like death of 1,000 paper cuts. So we end up losing today. A lot of Falcon fans are bummed today. They're upset. They don't like it. They're not happy. And honestly, I don't blame them. I do not blame them. I can't. I don't blame them. I completely understand people being upset today. But again, I, like Jack Spade, try to be positive. So I'm going to try and be positive today. But anybody who wants to join the chat, you're welcome to. We're just talking about these Falcons today. So Panthers won. Of course, the Saints couldn't get blown out. They had to take it down to like the last stand, and it's 4th and 7, and Spencer Rattler overthrows somebody, and they lose it that way in the last couple of seconds. And honestly, I think the Falcons probably to be honest, I think they found out that Tampa Bay won, and you could just kind of feel like it took the air out of them. So maybe that was, and I'm not excusing what happened on the last drive. Could have been, don't know, but A1 says, no, go ahead, BT Will. I don't know, man. I'm disappointed, A1. I mean, I know Tampa won, right? And look, there's nothing you can do about that. That's fine. I get it. But it really would have, again, another losing season, right? So not only do we not win the division, but we go out losing to the Panthers, and we have another consecutive losing season. And the question I have to ask is, does this change the way Arthur Smith sees Raheem? Does this change the way he sees Terry Fontenot? I don't know. I mean, we lost these last 2 games. And the game that you lost last week, you mismanaged, right? So you go from being 6-3 to finishing 8-9, which means you only won 2. 6-3 is 9. We played 17 games. You only won 2 of your remaining 8 games, which is not good. It's not good. And again, I'm not I like Raheem. I like Raheem a lot. But this is bad. You at least needed to take care of business against Carolina today. The fact that you didn't, it's a bad way to end a season, right? It's like if you're an attorney and you're a defense attorney and it's 4:00 on Friday, right? And the last witness is the prosecution's, and it's 4:15. And this witness absolutely destroys your case. You cannot let it end at 4:15. You can't let the last image in the jury's mind be of you getting your clock cleaned with this witness. You either got to pivot and come back and question the hell out of that witness and discredit him, or you got to come up with something, but you can't let that be the last image that these folks see and have to stew over the weekend because your client's probably going to be guilty. And it's the same thing with the Falcons. You cannot let the last image that we see for this season, even though it is a microcosm as to what happened, you can't let the last image that we see for this season be us giving up a touchdown. Like, you just can't. Karina says at the end of the game, it was deja vu again from Washington. I couldn't do nothing but shake my head. You know what, Karina? Me as well. Honestly. It's weird. It's weird at how it's just weird, man. It's just weird. What up, C-Dub? How you doing, man? Hopefully you're doing all right. All right, I'll drop the link. Give me a sec. Let me drop it in our chat. Jabri, what is going on, brother? How you doing? Yeah, I know. I know, man. It's tough, bro. It is really, oh man, it just sucks right now. That's all I can say. It just really sucks. Oh, tell Freddie I said what's up. Hey Freddie, how you doing, man? Freddie, we gotta link up, man. We got to get together. We gotta hang out. We gotta do something. Jabri says no words. We're all feeling it, man. We are all feeling it at this moment, and hey, man, let's just get together and let's talk about it, and let's just let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Freddie says hi. He is driving. What up, Freddie, man? Freddie is my favorite Steelers fan. Freddie's a good dude. A1 Forever says, I said when we went to overtime, we were not going to get another shot. Me too, A1. Me too. James Carter. Hey, James, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. James Carter says, it's going to be all right. Welcome to the club. Oh, man. Jabri says, Falcons, the only team I actually care about. Feeling deflated. You know what? Me too, man. Me too. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of my podcast mates, good friend of mine, C-Dubs, joining the chat. We're going to let him in here, joining the show. C-Dub!
Look.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Arms open. Bring it in. Yeah.
I cannot hear you.
We need a hug on this one.
All right. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Ooh,
I can hear you.
That was weird.
Yeah.
My mic just kind of went wonky on me.
That was weird. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I saw what happened.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough.
So it's the best of times and the worst of times, and it happened in this game.
That is, you know what? That is a beautiful statement. I love the way you express that because it is totally apropos. The offense conducted a concerto. They were magnifique. They were in symphony. They looked great. Penix looked awesome. Bijan is a stud. Algier is a boom, boom, boom. I mean,
triple threat.
Kyle got in on it a little bit. Look, Draco was getting that Keiko. I'm going to make this an expression, okay? I know it's not cool, but I'm going to say Draco getting to the Keiko enough to where people are going to make it, man. They're going to make an expression. But anyway, Draco went off, man. Draco went off. Ray caught a few passes. Like the offense, you didn't even have Mooney.
The one he didn't catch was hurt because it turned into the INT. But I mean, here we go. Offense. Honestly, I can't really criticize anything. Michael Penix, I don't want to hear people asking questions. This guy's the real deal. If this is game 3 of what he can do, I don't want to hear people questioning. I'm going to give Terry the kudos on that. Now, let's talk about it. The culprit of the evening wasn't the defense. It was the head coach and Jimmy Lake, because you didn't keep yourself accountable. You didn't, sometimes in these press conferences, a lot of people have been bringing this up. In the press conference, you're not just speaking to the fans, you're speaking to the players. But I always bring this back up. Then when you watched this game and you saw what happened, and you saw how you basically looked at this team and went, yeah, they should have moved faster. The defense gave you 30 seconds and 2 timeouts. Well, I know one thing. That same scenario happened. 46 seconds, 2 timeouts. And we scored. And we looked good scoring, by the way. That was how an offensive scores. But here's the problem. When did Bryce Young become Cam Newton?
This game, sir.
Because, hold on. So the 5 weeks of great defense, amazing getting to the quarterback. Notice how that didn't happen whatsoever?
I did notice it.
Yeah,
I did notice it.
And this is where I have to bring this up because I know people get mad, but here's what I'm going to say. Those guys quit on Raheem and Jimmy. They didn't move. They just played stationary at times. We just saw A.J. Terrell have one of the best games of his career, okay? And that throw to Thielen, you could tell it was like nothing he could do, but it was just like one of those. I couldn't even tell if he was supposed to be there. And it was just like, what is going on? It's almost the other way I could explain it if I had to was the Monstars came over and took the Atlanta Falcons defense abilities, what little they had, and took it. Because they didn't look like they were into the game whatsoever. And that's why I said, be accountable. I kept telling you guys, I want to see how we play. I didn't worry about the offense because I figured the offense was going to show out because, one is Carolina. As Ladarius was telling me, this was like the bottom 5th of offensive stats. Their defense is a little tough, but it can't be that tough. And then you see how we were rolling with the ball. And Drake and also Bijan, who, I know everyone has their love affair with, but my thing is the man can play. Bijan and then Drake, he's that dude. He really is. I'm just like going, dear God, this game just frustrated me to no end. But it wasn't because of the defense. As I was watching, I was just looking at Raheem going, this is paying the price for all the talk you did. All your running, you ran your mouth. And by the way, folks, on the notification or note, saying, oh, well, 1-year coaches don't get fired. Gerard Mario just got fired by New England. Just FYI. And they just got a quarterback. So, and I'm just bringing this up because, look, Terry, if you're Arthur Blank and you had Raheem in your office where he goes, after you've been trying to get your heart set on Bill Belichick, I know we're not going there, but just hear me out on this part. You know how people go, well, what's your expectations? What's your expectations of this season? And Ross sits down, looks Arthur in those beautiful eyes and goes, well, bro, let let me tell you. Hold on, let me smile. Now, if I get my quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and my homeboys, these qualified coaches, I guarantee you one win. That's like Chris Rock asking for one rib. And if Arthur Blanks goes, oh, we found our guy. No, because they weren't going to sell you one rib. And that's how I feel when I think of this team. You got one rib better than you gotten the past 3 years. But my question is this. Seeing the defense and seeing how they just pretty much said, nah, no. It makes me go, I need to look at, this is where you have to, this is like the hardest choice. Because I get when people go, you don't want to make a decision and you want to go with continuity. But what I'm saying is sometimes you also got to look at who you can get, but also look at, man, is Rob willing to get a coach that's going to work on Michael Penix's fundamentals, footwork, work on his base, work on, just delivery standpoint. Look, Penix is good, but, everybody can use some good coaching, good teaching, and the same, and, Drake's going to give it to you. Bijan's going to get better. The man has a love to hitting people. That man loves to quarterback protect. He loves to hit some guys. So I'm just saying, I look at that and I go, we need to consider looking at our future and go, are we best suited? Because my question is this, how do you get the fan base, the media? Because now, after what happened, I remember you even asking, and we all were like, well, probably don't know. He could probably get, work around. No, the minute that clock hits triple zeros, all the media that love that people thought he had vanished. They were going, one win better, really? So now it's like this, all that talk, no accountability. You have no grace. And you wonder why now. That is a hard thing for people to, chew on. And I'm sorry, man. It's like, it started with Koo. Not. I wasn't saying cut him. I was just saying if he's hurt, put him on IR, or whatever. Get you a good kicker. And it's just his, oh, we're not going to play that game, huh? And that's the other thing. Are the Falcons going to start being questioned on their legitimacy of injuries? You got to look at stuff like that because, and that's where I go, are you worth? And someone said, well, bring him back, and if he's not good, fire him in the middle of the season. So you're already playing destined to fire a guy middle of the year. I don't think that's a good way to look at things. But, that's just my thoughts, man. It's hard to watch because you just, like I said, offense, you were just into it. I mean, you saw the ball. Hold on. This man has been saying Michael Penix's arm is generational. Terry, I'm going to say this. I'm with you because some of those throws, I could not get over how he got there.
Yeah, that touchdown to Drake, that one where it's over the middle, that was on the line, man. That was a thing of beauty. Like that was not a whole lot of quarterbacks can make a throw like that because it was in tight coverage, but it got there so quick the defense couldn't respond. It was like zip, caught it, touchdown. So for me,
yeah, go ahead.
Again, if I'm Arthur Smith, I'd probably take a couple of days. I'd take a week, but I got to think to myself, I'm only going to have Kyle and Algier for the next 2 years, meaning this current nucleus of players, I'm only going to have for 2 years. It does me no good to bring a coach in here a new coach to just go 8-8 again. It doesn't. You got a new regime, you got new plays, you got new. It does me no good. So for me, I don't fire Raheem. Now, what I would do is Jimmy Lake has got to go. This is just me. These are just my thoughts. Or you know what? I can say that a better way. It may be time to move on from Jimmy Lake. You might want to look at the defensive coordinator position and make some changes. That would be my first thought. And by the way, if you're watching this on For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is on For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. The number 4 My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. So if it's me, I'm probably going to demand that Jimmy Lake's, going to be, we need another defensive coordinator. I think Zach has made some strides. I do. And I guess my next question is, what are we doing with Kirk? Are we keeping him or are we trading him or what are we doing? And I'm probably going to try and trade him. And get a backup in here and save a little bit of money and save some next year. And let's go ahead and build this team. Look, the advantage of having a rookie quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years is you can get him for cheap. So you can build talent around him. So, yeah, for me, Raheem gets a second year. Now, if it's not better much year, then he's got to go. But I just feel like that we're just starting to cook. I feel like it probably was a bad decision to hire Jimmy Lake. Those are my thoughts right now. They may change, but right now in the moment, and again, you kind of have to be careful being, and I'm not saying you're being this, I'm just saying in general, you kind of have to be careful with your thoughts, like right after a game like this, because your emotions can speak for you, and that's never good, right? It's never good. So for me, yeah, right now, just off the dome, I'm not firing Raheem just because I feel like you need some consistency. I like what Zach Robinson has done. If you get another coordinator in here, he's another head coach, he's probably going to want his own coordinator. And here we go starting over again. And I just feel like this offense, what I saw today was what this offense should have been all year. What I saw today was what this offense could have been all year if Kirk had been truly healthy, whatever you want to call it. So, for me, that's a positive, right? That's something I'm excited about. That's something I want to see next season. That's a reason to buy season tickets. Look at Penix, Algier, Bijan, Mooney, Draco, even Kyle. That's a reason to buy season tickets. So I'm going to double down on that if I'm Arthur. And I'm going to get the most out of it. And, yeah, those are my thoughts. So,
yeah.
Anyway, tell me your thoughts on Terry Fontenot.
I think Terry actually did a good job, but here's the problem. I believe Raheem's going to throw him under the bus. I believe Raheem is not a team player. I believe Ra is going to do it Ra's way. And I believe you're going to end up seeing someone's going to take a fall for this. It should never be Terry on this one. Even though we could look at Judon, we could look at all the stuff, we could look at draft record, drafting. But my thing I go back to is this. He did get us the quarterback. So that I give credit, as well as, I just said it earlier today. We've got a triple threat. Now, Kyle Pitts isn't part of that. But we've got Bijan, we've got Drake, and we've got Michael. And, I like that. Now, those are going to be, to me, the three guys you need to keep lockstep. Now, for Terry, I feel like it will be easy to throw or fire him versus Raheem in some people's eyes. Me personally, this is all on Raheem. And if he can't take accountability and he cannot, or if he's not willing to even look at, you know, letting Jimmy go, you know, bringing someone in to help Zach, maybe bring, better execute, help with Michael Penix, um, you know, work ethic, or not work ethic, but his like fundamentals. And I bring that up because that's important. Here's the thing. Zach only worked with him for 3 games. So it wasn't like he had all these games he was able to play with him. It's more of, okay, well, let's see what we can get. Let's try to work this out. I would love to see. I think it's like this. I want to just see Raheem in a different light. Because of his bragging and his mouth, I want to just see him basically put it on himself. If he does that, I can actually tell you I think there's hope. But if he doesn't, I got to go here and say we're in trouble because I don't trust Raheem. I saw a full year and he wouldn't play guys. He wouldn't play the starters. He wouldn't even play number twos in the preseason. He wants to be secretive. So my question is this: why are we gonna, look at a guy and go, sell me on next year? No, no. I could actually get behind Terry more because when you needed pieces, he got you pieces. And the question also comes up, Terry, that we haven't really ever figured out: who wanted Kirk the most? Was it Raheem that pushed for it? And him pushing for it, you ended up getting, Terry was like, all right, let's go ahead and make this work. Let's get the money to, which crazy enough, I know Ladarius broke it down many times. It's only a 2-year deal. And to be fair, it's not like it's a bad thing for Kirk to be the backup.
Right.
I don't think it would be. I actually would like Kirk to still stay here because I feel he brings a very calming presence. And also I need to say this. Throughout this losing streak that we did have, when Kirk came on that press conference, he took accountability. He said he needed to be better. I knew, we had some fun with a couple of things, but we've talked it out. But my thing is, I've never saw him go, man, it's everyone's fault but mine. He never did. And you got to commend
there
him.
was, I don't mean to cut you off. There was one interview where he was like, well, when I got the ball back, it was
yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was 30. But to be honest, I blew that up, but I also felt like you could look at that and go, look, you had a turnover, sudden change, and yeah, I could see it. But in the game, I'm going, hey, man, you got to be unflappable because you're the guy. But again, he's also in this doldrum where he's playing crap. He finally sees a little bit of light, and then this happened, and it's like, so, but that's why I said, at least for the most part, he's been that model guy. I don't, that's why I say, if you could keep him, please keep him. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's that big of an issue. But if he wants to go and is willing to get traded, okay, then find a spot and go from there.
All right, we got King Richie joining the show. I'm sorry, C-Dub, not to cut you off. We got
what's going on, C-Dub?
Joining the show.
Problem. He's just following me. I know how this is.
King, how you doing?
Oh yeah. Nah,
Richie, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm gonna be honest. I know who Fall Guy gonna be, and it's gonna be Jimmy Lake. I promise you. Because, like I said in Ryan podcast, the defense didn't even come to you thinking that the defense just missing these plays like that. The defense of players do not like that scheme, whatever scheme. Because we went the last 4 to 5 games, we've been in a 4-3. That's why we were getting pressure. Soon as we get to the last game of the season, you decide to go back 3-4. Nope. See this, I don't have a problem with the 3-4. I'm gonna tell you what my problem with it is. Go look at Pierce on Baltimore, where they in that 3-4, and look at is anybody on our team that big? Nobody on our team is 350, 360.
No, I don't think so.
So why do you keep getting and you don't have a middle linebacker? Those are the two most important pieces to a 3-4. So why do you keep the defense looked uninterested when the game started? Like, I think they tired of Jimmy Lake too. I don't know who it is. Whoever's putting them in that 3-4, they're tired of them. And I don't know if it's Raheem or Jimmy Lake. I don't know which one it is. But Jimmy Lake is finna take this far. Watch what I tell you, because people, if you think about it, people want Raw gone, yeah. They just upset right now, just like they was when the year before we went to the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan and they wanted him gone. I think it'll behoove you more to keep Zach Robinson, since Steve Wilkes already been around the building anyway. Make him you should have never had 2 first-year guys in the first place.
Agreed.
One should have been a vet, whether it's offense or defense, and one you can't sustain through 2 rookies with new play calling.
Yeah.
You've never seen a team even do that because they know better.
Yeah.
Somebody got to be the vet. And I didn't really have a problem with this game like I have the rest of them. Because one thing that I realized in this game, boy, we got us an MF quarterback.
Yeah, we do.
We got us an MF quarterback. And that's all I really wanted to see through there. Because like I told you, I'm not rooting for the Saints. I don't care what the score is. So that didn't bother me. For you waiting on me to root for the Saints, our season over. Let me tell it. So what I was more so looking at, I wanted to see our quarterback progress from last week. And he did that. But my only complaint with Zach Robinson is, bro, you run that pistol way too much, and that's why we become predictable. You've got to get out that pistol. You've got to add more wrinkles to your playbook.
Agreed. So let me ask you this question, King Richie. If it's you, are you bringing back Raheem? Because I know what my end, like for me, Jimmy Lake's gone like tomorrow. But if it's you, who takes the fall? If it's you, I know who you said would, but you personally, are you keeping Raheem? Are you keeping Jimmy? Are you getting rid of the entire administration? What are you doing if it's you?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go on and keep Raheem. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this team will never gel if you don't keep somebody. But the only way you can stay Raheem, Jimmy Lake got to go.
Agreed.
Somebody got to take a fall. That's why I said I think it's going to be Jimmy Lake. Sad to say, because I'm going to be honest. As much slack as we gave Zach Robinson, at least we've seen improvement from him. Even when Kirk was in there. Because remember, the only game, he's called bad games. I'm not going to say he hasn't. But the worst game he ever called was the first one.
Yeah.
You've seen flashes here and there of what the offense could be. So he just got to learn when to run and when to throw. Once he get the mix of that together, I think he'll more so be all right because he just got to learn to lean on our run. What it is, and I think it was Utah who said this, our team is trying to get away from that run first identity, but you know why we can't? Because Raheem Morris didn't build this offensive line. Arthur Smith did.
Right.
He built the offensive line to run. It ain't really supposed to sustain for us to throw 40 times a game. It's not.
Right.
So, if anything, I would just go. I let Ross stay, and I'm gonna tell you one main reason why. Because if you really want a real good coach, you can't keep firing coaches. You can't. Even though the Patriots just did it, I didn't even figure they were gonna keep Mayo anyway.
Right.
So
Okay.
he was just
There
a
you
bridge
go.
coach.
There
So
you go.
I'm not really tripping on Mayo. I knew they weren't gonna keep Mayo.
Correct.
They were just waiting for someone like a Ben Johnson or
There you go.
Glenn from the
They
Detroit.
wanted to accomplish their the contract clause that they had on him, so that he could be the head coach, and then like you said, they let him go. But here's the thing, guys. I get what you're saying with this about the continuity aspect and all that, but here's also the thing. If the guy's not, if you have a wrong shoe that doesn't fit, you're not going to keep wearing it thinking your foot's going to magically feel comfortable.
Depends on the shoe. Depends on
the
the
only reason I say that,
so
that I would keep
respectfully,
Raheem is because you don't know how the players feel about him. Now,
well, hang
hold
on,
on.
wait, guys, no, hang on, and just let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Raheem did not perform terribly this year. He made some bad decisions, and let's be honest, with the exception of that 4-week little whatever that was when Dan Quinn got fired, the man has not been a head coach in a long time. So he did make mistakes. Nobody's going to be perfect in their year. I'm not excusing his bad decisions. What I am saying is, if you look at what you're faced with, you bring in another coordinator, you may as well go ahead and trade Algier. You may as well go ahead and trade Pitts, because by the time they get good in this offense, they're going to be free agents anyway. I do not believe in wasting resources. So if you've got this offensive nucleus, and make no mistake about it, let me be clear on what I'm saying. This offense right now is good enough to win a Super Bowl. This offense, I'm not saying the defense, from what I saw today, no matter what the Panthers did, once we got it together, they couldn't stop us. Matter of fact,
we actually jailed today on offense.
We did. Matter of fact, if we get that ball first, we win. What I'm saying is, I don't want to waste that bringing in a new coach with a new coordinator. Well, now we got to start all over again. I don't want to go through that.
That's why I said, Jimmy,
you're wasting a year. Right.
That's why I said I keep Raheem on the basis that you got to get rid of Jimmy Lake. Somebody got to take the ball.
Agreed.
So I think if you get rid of Jimmy Lake, you will please at least some of the fan base. Because no matter how good the defense played them 5 weeks or 4 weeks, it just got outshadowed by this game here. And the only thing people gonna remember is our defense couldn't hold up.
I think Jimmy needs to go. Go ahead, C-Dub.
Raheem has never showed accountability when he was with Tampa, and he hasn't shown it still here. I am not on fire about Raheem coming back, because that prideful arrogance cost us a playoff seed tonight. It cost us last week, and the thing is this. It cost us when Kirk Cousins was struggling. It cost us when Koo was struggling. It cost us when the defense was struggling. My thing has always been the same. Look at the games we lost also. We lost to the Saints, and that triggered the 4-game losing streak. And I remembered saying, go to this game. Treat it like a playoff game. You win the division. And then what happens? We lost, and it triggered a huge landslide. Denver kicked our butts. L.A., Kirk Cousins got colorblind. And
I understand what you're saying, C-Dub. I'm gonna tell you why I say keep Raheem though, because this time you keep Raheem one more year, right? You align him and Terry at the hip. So if you're gonna get rid of everybody, you might as well get rid of everybody. So give him one more year, attach everybody to the hip, except for Jimmy Lake. I don't care what you do. Jimmy Lake needs to be gone.
Well, no. Me and you are one accord with the whole Jimmy Lake thing. But the only reason why I say one main reason why I say give Rod one more year, because I had to stomach 3 years of Arthur Smith. Okay.
Regardless of what the roster looked like, if you got people who want to get rid of Terry too. So you might as well align Rod Terry, Zach Robinson, and whoever your defensive coordinator is, align all them at the hip for next year.
Yeah.
And if we don't come out with at least say 10-7, 11-6, something like that, and we in the playoffs, then you just get rid of everybody at that point. Because
Richie.
now you're gonna have to get rid of players too. You still got
Richie.
one more year with a lot of these players, so you might as well give them one more year. Because if just say he flopped next year, you might as well get rid of everybody anyway, because most of your players' rookie contracts are just about over with.
So here's my question to you, though. So, and I see Brother Ron in the house. So I want to just say this, okay? I get the year, and I get, giving Ron no chance. My thing is this. Make some players. How do you think those players felt when Rod wouldn't call timeout? When Raw, who, like you just said with the defense, they were running the 4-3. They were making plays. They were sacking the quarterback. They made life. It was actually fun to watch the defense on, for the Falcons, because they actually were looking good. And then this game, you go back to everything the way it was week 1 through 11. How do you think that
could have been a master plan. See, I'm gonna be honest. When you dealing with somebody slick, right? You gotta understand. As much as I like Raheem, he still do got a little street slickness to him. So you know what I'm saying. I'm looking at it like a finesse game too. I already know they want my head. So what I'm gonna do is, Jimmy, I'm gonna let you call the defense this whole game. I'm not even gonna intervene in it. So you setting the scapegoat. What I'm basically saying is you're setting the scapegoat up.
Yeah.
To take the fall because you messed up.
So, Richie, here's the thing, though. When everyone all the way to the back is looking at this going, this is a rib or this is a fix, we all know who the real problem is. And we're going to supposed to go, oh, yeah, get rid of Jimmy. Everything will be fine. Nah, man. There's a lot.
That's the reason.
That's why, as a fan for a long time, I like to go, look, why are we going to relive people who make bad decisions, who are basically, Raheem is made to be a defensive coordinator, and probably a damn good one. But when it comes to head coaching, he obviously does not like to be accountable, and I'm going to keep hitting that one. But he doesn't like to change or work with guys and be able to be coachable or be able to go, okay, this is going on. Let's fix this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Because let me tell you, as we talk about halftime adjustments. There wasn't no halftime adjustments, and that goes credence to you saying about the scapegoatness. But
see, that's what I was saying is I didn't see an offense that gave up on Raheem. I seen a defense that gave. That offense didn't give up.
Oh no,
that's why I said the locker room may be half and half. So if you get rid of them.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to interject something because CW, you keep hammering home a point, and I really want to make a comparison. And King Richie, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but you good. I really want to make a comparison. So if you would give me 1 sec, I just want to share something with you guys because I think it bears relevancy. CW, you keep hammering on the point that Raheem doesn't learn and he doesn't listen and he's arrogant.
He's not accountable.
We are right. He's not accountable, right? We are looking at the record, and you said he was. I think the other day you said he had a losing record or something. We're looking at the record of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of one Bill Belichick, right? Yeah. This is clearly a losing record.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Raheem has a better record now. Well, he might not. I'm not going to say that. But
I was going to say, are you wanting to say that you'd rather have Raheem over Bill Belichick? Because, he does have 6 Super Bowl rings now.
Right, but he didn't get them in the first 6 years is what I'm saying.
No, I know that.
My point is sometimes you have to give a person, a coach, room to grow. Okay. You got to give a person room to grow. So look it. I know Raheem screwed the pooch. He did, but I'm not of the opinion to let him go.
And
Guys,
that's
we
my
got some more
thing.
folks. Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, I'm finna go down, but my bad. Go ahead, Ron.
You're good. Go ahead.
How many years you would give Raheem and he keep on coaching like he is?
We've only had him for 1 year, Ron, so I'm giving him at least one more year.
Okay, so if he mess up next year, you
Then-
would fire him then?
Depends on the record. If we have a losing record, if we go 5-11 next year, then yes, I would fire him. Let's be real. There are 30 teams in the NFL. What, 32, 31 of them this year are going to be disappointed, right? So
Right.
no, my objective next year is not it's not Super Bowl or bust. If let's say we go, I don't know, 11-6 next year and we make the playoffs, I can see progress. We're good. I'm not saying Raheem is perfect. He clearly is not. I'm not saying Raheem doesn't need to do some soul searching this offseason. He clearly does. I can point to 4 areas of focus that need to be improved. But what I'm saying,
I'm gonna take care of something with the family real quick.
Okay.
So I'll be back.
all right, man. We'll see you. Thanks for joining, C-Dub. So what I am saying is, I would rather deal with a year of Raheem and the potential to get this thing on the show than bring in a new coach and a new offensive coordinator and have to start all over again, simply because you're only going to have Algier and Pitts for 2 more years.
Right.
If that. So the nucleus of this offense, and make no mistake, I started this rant by saying this offense in and of itself today is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Now, the defense, I'm not saying the team is.
Right.
I'm saying this offense, you give this offense 17 games together next year, oh, goodness, right? So I don't want to break that up. That's what I'm saying, Ron. Guys, we got some. Give me a sec, Ron. Let me introduce some new guys we have to the show, some new guests. We've got James Holloway. How you doing, sir? We got Antonio. How you doing, sir? And we got my man, Cowboy. How you doing out there, brother? How you been? You all right?
Long time no see. Been
I
a
know,
minute.
man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm sorry,
Ron.
Ron.
Appreciate it.
Say we had the same record next year. The same record on both sides.
Right.
Do you get rid of Raheem next year?
What?
Do you let Raheem go next year?
Depends. Why do we have it? Do we have it? Is it underperformance? Is it bad coaching decisions? Is it poor coaching timeouts?
All of it.
Then yeah. I mean, if I see a repeat of this year's performance, I probably would. But if it's a situation where half the team gets injured, then no. So I mean, yeah, if I don't see an improvement in his performance personally, then I'll give you that. But for me, you can't just blow up something, blow it up. You get what I'm saying? It's like, let's say I got a team, right? And they do something and I just want to go off. You got to pick your spot. You can't go off just for the sake of going off.
Hey, because if you think about it, remember when everybody wanted to get rid of Shanahan the year before we went to the Super Bowl?
Thank you for bringing that up.
We'd have listened.
Thank
if
you.
we'd have listened to the fans, we'd have never went to the Super Bowl.
But
now, I'm all for getting rid of Jimmy Lake, but I'm not just going to shoot Raheem under the bus, because I'm going to be honest, I never wanted Belichick anyway. I want, if we going to get somebody, let's get somebody young and innovative. But, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the game is past Belichick.
What I'm saying is, when he went on the radio station, he threw everybody under the bus. Everybody. And ever since then, the defense has not been playing for him.
I think
ever since the radio, that he called everybody out. So you tell me you would want to keep on playing for a man that don't know his left and right?
You can't really say that, because I just watched the offense play for him.
Thank you.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
They played their butts off for him. Thank you.
I think it's more so the defense didn't play for Jimmy Lake.
They didn't play for Jimmy Lake, Ron. They didn't play for Jimmy Lake.
Honest. that when we just got through playing a 4-3 and a cover one for the last 4 games, and our team was a beast.
Right.
We go back to that 3-4, like I keep explaining to people.
Correct.
If you don't have a real, look at Baltimore D-line. That boy Pierce that just caught that ball weighs 350, 360. We don't even have nobody on the team that weigh that can anchor a defense, and you don't have a middle linebacker. You cannot run a 3-4 without
I'm glad you brought
that
that up.
linebacker.
Right.
It's just impossible.
I'm glad you brought that up. Who drafted these players?
Ron.
That's why I said
Ron,
that matters.
The point is
but that's why I said if you feel that way, attach Terry to Raheem and everybody else next year. And if you feel that way, just let everybody go.
Guys, here's the thing. With those play, no, because I can't let this go. Ron, you bring up a point, but you just kind of hurt yourself. We were playing well for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Under a full, so it's hold on. It's not the players. It's obviously the scheme, and that's Jimmy Lake. That's Jimmy Lake. That's Jimmy Lake.
It go back to Raheem chose Jimmy Lake to come here. So
that's a mistake.
Is Raheem the only? Let me ask you a question, Ron. Is Raheem the only coach to get a coordinator wrong? No, he's not. No, he's not.
No, he's not. I said no.
Okay.
But when I said if it's going to be my first year, I want my coaching staff that has some experience in the NFL. And he knew that not running that to Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, look, Ron.
That's all I'm saying.
I get it, but I don't think it's worth going to
Raheem on the nail. Like he part of the problem.
I don't think you get rid of him, Ron. I'm gonna be. I hear your point. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying Raheem shouldn't be held accountable, but you're cutting your nose off to spite your face, right? If you see it, if you have an infection in your toe and all you got to do is go to the doctor and get him to clean it out, you don't want to cut your toe off. That's not a. I can't agree with just let's fire Raheem and fire everybody and bring it, because what you're going to do is you're going to stunt the growth of this offense because they're going to take a step back. That's my own.
Can I say this real quick?
Yes, Antonio, go ahead. Is that Antonio? Was that you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Antonio.
I get where Ron coming from, because if you really think about it, who is the actual head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Raheem.
That's Raheem. Now, when it comes down to him and his coordinators, you can go back and you can look at all the mistakes that was made. It was Raheem's choice to ride with Cousins during our little, whatever that little, I don't even know what to call that. But it was his choice to ride with him. If you look at the mistakes that Raheem has made, even when he came down, he said, it's not on me to call the timeout. It's like a group thing that we have to agree on calling timeouts and stuff like that. At the end of the day, dude, you are the head coach. You are the head coach, point blank, period. Nobody should override the head coach, period. You want your players to respect you and ride with you and stuff like that, but at the same time, we're supposed to sit back, even us as fans, sit back and we can see the mistakes that's being made. And what you want me to sit back and be like, I'm going to ride with Raheem when I see him doing this, that, and the third? I would rather fire Raheem, bring in another coach, and get rid of anybody that's costing us money that's not producing. Point blank, period. Raheem can go.
So you want to take a step back for 3 or 4 years, because that's what you're saying, right?
No, I'm not saying take a step back. I'm talking about bringing somebody.
Who's out there? Who's out there that knows this offense, right? Because here's what I'm saying. When you bring in a head coach, you're not just bringing in a head coach. You're bringing in a new offense, a new offensive coordinator, a new strategy. So who's out there right now that can run the offense that we have? Who's out there?
They're not going to want to run the offense.
That's my point.
They're going to have their own scheme.
But you know what my point is? My point is what? We got another losing season under a new head coach. Like, where have we actually, outside of getting a quarterback, where have we actually progressed since last year?
This offense, if you keep this offense together, this offense will score 35 points. You look at, I'm not saying Raheem performed well. I'm not saying that. Please don't take it. What I am saying is, what is the objective? If the objective is we're trying to get to the playoffs as quick as possible, we're trying to get to a Super Bowl as quick as possible. You have a ready-made offense. You have a ready-made offensive coordinator. You have this offense for the next 2 years. It makes no sense to bring a new guy in here when we know it's going to take him 2 years to get up to speed.
Now,
Hold on,
I
hold
think
on.
if he'd have
Listen to what you're saying, though. We had a ready-made offense last year, with the exception of not having a quarterback. And still have the same record.
We
still have the same record.
I'm not saying I'm not saying he did not underperform. What I am saying is there is nobody out there who can run this offense as constructed. You already got that in place. It doesn't make sense to fire somebody just for the sake of firing somebody, because whoever you bring in here, you're not going to go 15-1. You're not going to. So guess what? You're going to go 7-9 again. And then the year after that, because you're not going to sign Algier. Jesse Bates' contract is coming up. You're not going to re-sign Algier.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Kyle Pitts.
Let me ask you this question: if there was a head coach out there, right? Are you saying that firing Raheem wouldn't be warranted?
I'm saying if you could. So let me give you an example. If you could get the guy who's the offensive coordinator for Detroit, fine. If you could get him, if you could get Kevin O'Connell, outside of that, no. Yeah. Because guess what? You're going to take a step back. And we're going to be right here next year having the same conversation saying, wow, we're 7-9 again. Let's fire this guy.
If you're not talking about him or Cliff Kingsbury, I don't want none of them. I'm going to just keep it real.
And even Cliff Kingsbury is a wonderful coordinator, but he's a horrible head coach, Reach.
How you guys doing this afternoon, man? Pleasure to be on with everybody, man. Glad to share the space. I got a question for y'all. What's the infatuation with Ben Johnson? Let me ask you that, because like what we have in Zach Robinson, he will be a first-year coordinator or first-year head coach making plays outside of offensive coordinating duties. He is now the head coach. So what makes you think that Ben Johnson off rip would make this Falcons team better? Because what we see in Detroit, sometimes that could be fool's gold.
Yes.
And we're not supposed to marry fool's gold. I firmly believe like what Zach has orchestrated has been exactly what a true first-year offensive coordinator is allowed to do, is make mistakes. And
I agree
everybody,
I agree with that.
And you got to allow everybody to learn off of those tendencies of what to do and what not to do going forward. Zach is not the problem here.
No.
Zach is not. Zach is not the problem here. So I question folks when they want to say, "Oh, Ben Johnson will get this team right." Yeah, it looks well and good because he's doing it in Detroit, and they have time put in together. You can't bring that element into that Atlanta, because you know what? This is a team. This is a fan base that's 7 years, 8 years in the dark, not tasting what a winning season is. So I don't think folks are ready to. I'm gonna be. Go ahead.
But as a head coach,
for me, it was just about creativity. I like Zach, and I'm gonna tell you why I like Zach, because I always knew that Zach was brought here for Michael Penix, not Kirk Cousins, and I wish people would quit thinking that. That's why he was brought here. The only thing I'm tired of is get out the pistol a little bit. That's why we keep getting stopped, because you stay in that pistol 90% of the game. It got to a point where with the little bit of football I played through junior high school on defense, on the defensive line, I knew what you was finna call. At certain points in the game. And I'm not a head coach or nothing, but I could look at the way the offensive shift. Oh, he up under center, they finna run. Oh, he in a pistol, they need these yards. We gonna run to the right. It's getting to the point where I can read the offense, and that's where I have a problem with. Now, so
let me ask you this: as a head coach, if you know the 4-3 have been working for us over the last 4 or 5 games, right? As a head coach, why would you let your defensive coordinator go away from what has been working for us?
You know why? Because I need my scapegoat for the next year, so I'm gonna let Jimmy Lake call this offense by him. You gotta understand, you dealing with
Good answer.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at it being that, you know what I'm saying, my past is what it is. We ain't gonna speak about that on the podcast, but I see him as a finesser. If we was in my lane, he's a finesser. He's a fast talker. So me, I'm gonna make you slow down and tell me what you saying. You can't fast talk me, because both of us hustle. Both of us know the lingo. He's basically fast talking the media, but the media is from Atlanta. They're not from North Dakota. So they understand finesse because Atlanta been a finesse city. So when I'm looking at it like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let Jimmy Lake run the defense today, because you know why? I already know the fan base want me gone. So let me go and get my scapegoat ready now, like Dan Quinn did Steve Sarkisian, because you want Steve Sarkisian to run Shanahan playbook. He already had his scapegoat pent up, and Marquand Manuel, who actually was calling the defense, and he got worse after you let him go, because he was your scapegoat. All Raheem is doing is setting his scapegoat in place just in case.
But do you think that was set up from the very beginning?
Yes. Let me tell you how I knew. When I got in Berto chat, right, I got out because I wanted to see, every time I get in someone live, I get out for the first couple of plays on offense and defense, because that'll tell me everything I need to know. And when it tell me everything I need to know, now I know if I can park in front of the screen or be relaxed and go outside, because I already see what's going on. When I seen the defense,
so I said this.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. When I seen the defense come out on that first drive, I said game over with, because that defense didn't come to play today. The defense is tired of Jimmy Lake putting them 10 yards out. Listen what I'm trying to explain to you. When you have a team full of, if I'm a defensive coach, right, I got a team full of ball hawks. I got a team full of dogs, and I'm making them play off the ball. That's stupid, because I'm making them lean back instead of sit forward with their ears bent back. That's stupid. You got Clark Phillips, and he's a better in the box corner, but you got him playing in coverage when you need to sit him as a corner or a safety and let him just roam around, and you need to let Clark Phillips spot that quarterback.
So if
you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not switching it up. Like, I watched you on the goal line send two people in pressure. That's how they was able to get that whole 1st and 25 back.
Bro, what about the walk-in? What about the walk-in touchdown? We playing off and goal line. What the hell are we doing, man? What are we doing, man?
We didn't even switch it up after the half. That's why I say I couldn't even watch it no more. I knew then it's over with. Because this team has been playing a 4-3. When I watched them play that 4-3 cover one for the last 4 games, we came out there in that 3-4. I said game over. All I wanted to see was the base defense we were going to be in. Once we went right back. We went right back to real 0-10.
That 10-week ass defense. We went right back to that, man. They were asking us on those cutback zones. We ain't got nobody in the middle of this defense that can hold 2 men down. So those lanes were open, man. And here's another thing, man. Communication was ass today in that secondary, man. Big time. And the biggest liability was Justin Simmons. Boy, man, I swear, man.
Him and D. Alford, but they be taking on D. Alford.
Look,
man.
If you know your homeboy ain't, why would you give him the job?
And I know everybody's seen that play where Jesse Bates looked at Simmons and just shook his head.
He said, "What are you doing?" He basically asking, "What are you doing?"
Exactly.
Hey guys,
because if you want to look at it, Richie Grant actually played better than Simmons today.
Sure did.
Hey guys, guys, I want to get James and Cowboy a chance to get their thoughts out. So James, thank you for waiting patiently. Give me your thoughts on today's game. Give me your thoughts on whether or not you're keeping Raheem or Jimmy Lake. Go ahead, James.
Well, first, before I get started, how y'all doing today, fellas?
Doing well, James. Doing well.
That's good. So,
James, you got on your red light?
Not yet. The red light coming later this week, though. The thing is that as far as the game go, I wasn't mad. I kind of figured that our playoff host was slim at that point because I knew the Bucks was going to beat the Saints anyway, and that was the main thing. So I wasn't upset at a point as Antonio know me as me cussing up a storm.
What?
Um, the defense didn't
Yeah.
play. The defense didn't play well today, as y'all know. So I'm not going to get into that. But I'm gonna get into more of do we keep Raheem? You have to keep Raheem.
Thank you.
Even though y'all mad at him for the way the season played out and everything, you have to look at it. Raheem was coming in with his scheme from the jump with the 4-3 personnel. Even though that was a big mistake on his part, he was gonna stick to it one way or another. That's for one. For two, the timeout situation. I already expressed how I feel about that. I'm gonna move on from that. The third thing is at the end of the day, you have to the organization. Even though he went 8-9 this year overall, pretty much at hand, you got to see it through. You just can't keep firing coaches. I know Arthur Blank do not want to pay. He's still paying Arthur Smith. He don't want to have to pay 2 fired coaches. He ain't gonna want to do that. So he gonna want to see it through. The second thing is, even though it didn't plan how we're gonna plan because we had a traumatic downfall from the 6-3. I still had hope with the adjustments that are gonna have to be made on defense in the offseason that this offense will be potent. A 32 to 35 point a game. It gives me hope because Michael Penix is spinning that ball.
Yeah.
And everything. And I was just looking at, he said he can't wait to come back to get even better than ever. So that lets me know that this offense is going to be potent next year. We just got to get the defense on the road. And as far as Terry, Terry. Oh, Terry, they more than likely probably won't extend this contract this year.
Okay.
So he'll be I don't think Jimmy Lake will be the downfall. Terry will be the downfall. Even though this is first year being a complete GM, he's gonna get the downfall of all this.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I hope not. I agree with Antonio. I hope not. Cowboy, you've been waiting patiently. First and foremost, man, how you doing, brother? You all right?
Hey, man, I'm good. How about y'all? How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing well. Cowboy, give me 1 sec. Right. I got to give my boy Larry the Dixon way. I have so much respect for this brother. How you doing, man? You doing all right? We'll get to you in a sec. But hey, Larry Dixon way, it's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Cowboy, what you got, man? Give me your thoughts on it.
Oh my goodness. So guys, listen, we can attribute everything that happened this season all the way back to the draft.
Wait, Cowboy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm out of order. Antonio, did I give you your shot to speak?
No, you can go. Cowboy can go ahead.
All right, so we'll go Cowboy, then Antonio. Antonio, I apologize. Go ahead, Cowboy.
All right. Kirk Cousins through this whole Falcon thing for a loop. I think we signed Cousins. We had a plan. Terry Fontenot saw that we had an opportunity to get Penix. There come plan number 2. So it threw everything for a loop. And I think Raheem Morris wanted to go with Penix as a starter, but we already signed Cousins for that $180 million. So they couldn't just throw Penix in there. So it was one decision after another from Terry Fontenot to Raheem Morris to Jimmy Lake to Zach Robinson. It's all kind of bad decisions that were made throughout the season that has the season looking the way it is and not looking with 10 or more wins. But I see this team, what we see today, what we've ended with, I see this team being the same team that we come into the preseason with. I don't think anybody's going to be fired. We may want people to be fired, but I don't see anybody being fired. You know, we brought in Raheem Morris as a first-year head coach, and then we turn around and bring in a first-year offensive coordinator, a first-year defensive coordinator. And, I mean, that was a mistake in itself, in my opinion, because there is no experience there. I mean, everybody's on a learning curve. I mean, even Kirk Cousins, and he's the most veteran player on the team, I think. Kirk Cousins is on the learning curve because he got to train up Michael Penix. He's never trained nobody. He was too busy trying to keep his job. So, I mean, everybody's on a learning curve, and even Arthur Blank, he don't know anything about football. He knows soccer. So when he turned over the organization to Rich McKay made a bunch of bold head moves, and then they brought in Terry Fontenot. So they put the team in Terry Fontenot's hands. He's going to get another couple of years. He's still building this team. This is actually a team that can win in the future. This is actually a team that can compete as long as coaching decisions get made accordingly. Because right now it's not happening. It's not happening.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Antonio. You've been waiting so patiently, and I apologize. Go ahead, sir. Give us your thoughts.
I have to agree with, I've said this before, like on the eye test, on ABG. I think Terry, when he was hired, I think he came in with insurance policies.
Mm-hmm.
And I do mean insurance policies. So if you want to put the blame on me, I got two other people that y'all can blame it on to keep my job safe. Because that's pretty much what it came. That's pretty much what it comes down to, though, if you really think about it. So yeah, I'm all for, like, if we could get another head, if we could get rid of Raheem and we brought in another head coach that knew what he was doing, that didn't make all the mistakes, because people want to talk about Raheem has never been a head coach, but you've made a lot of mistakes. When I say a lot of mistakes, like, he has no accountability, and he's like the dumbest, smartest person in the room every time he talks, if you really listen to him.
Yeah.
That is Antonio. That is a great point. Just stay there for a sec, because I want to bring something to your attention, because you really just stumbled into something. What'd you say again? You said he was the what now?
The dumbest, smartest person in the room.
That is like exactly. That is like 100%.
He's Pootie Tang's sidekick. When he was like, Pootie Tang be like, "Damn, it's hot out here," and the sidekick go, "Yeah, and it's hot too." That's him.
I think. So for me, with Raheem's decisions, I can understand what he's doing. I think, number one, he outthinks himself. But the problem that I have with him, and this goes to C-Dub, and I have to say I agree with him, it's the lack of accountability, right?
Right.
That interview, and I don't know, I'm assuming everyone has heard the interview, but that interview that he did with Mike Bell and Rob Dribble, there was no excuse for that. There was absolutely no excuse for that. You had a moment, and for those of you who didn't hear it, basically, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but essentially Rob Dribble says, look, a lot of people are losing faith in you. I'm a lifelong Falcons fan. I've been a fan for 40 plus years, and I'm a fan of yours. I rock with you. But for those of us who are losing faith, give us a reason why we should continue to support you. And you know what he said? He says, I don't have to do that. I don't feel like I have to do that. And there was an opportunity. Yes. And that was the other thing I was getting to.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he'd have said, you know what, guys, I screwed the pooch. I dropped the ball. It's my fault. But let me tell you what I was thinking. Okay? Here's what I'm thinking. We got a rookie quarterback they're rushing for. If I take a timeout, they're probably going to come up with some exotic blitz, and I don't know that he's ready for it. So that's what I was thinking. In hindsight, I was wrong. I can admit that. I apologize. I think those of you who just don't totally hate him would have been fine with it. But what he did was to alienate us. And I think, and the reason I'm channeling what you're saying, Antonio, is because he comes across like, I'm your dad and I'm the smartest guy in the room and I know what's good for you. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I agree with you 100%. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And like even when I heard that interview, I was like, this man has no respect for the fan base.
That's how it came off. That's how it came off.
Because that's how he comes off. He comes off as, I thought Arthur Smith was arrogant. No, Raheem is arrogant.
Yeah.
Because he feels like, I guess once he got the chance to be a head coach and he was already here in Atlanta. And I'm sorry. You know why I think he could really go? Because he's still part of that 28-3 curse that he's on that curse too.
Oh wow!
So you can get his ass out of here just based on that alone.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Just based on that alone. Anybody that has anything tied to that 28th degree, I guess what? They can get the hell out of Atlanta for real.
Oh wow!
That's how I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, way.
Because it's kind of like if you ever watched that movie Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they died. Let's go bury them and bring their ass back. And guess what? When they came back, what was it? They was a hell of a lot worse than they was when they was alive.
Yeah. And anything they got infected, right? I think so.
Right.
But hey, we appreciate you, Antonio. Berto, you've been waiting patiently, sir. Give us your thoughts on Raheem. And look, even though I just said all of that about Raheem, I still think Raheem has a lot of talent. I think he cares. I just think he's tone deaf when it comes to the fans. But with that being said, Berto, give us your thoughts on just Raheem's performance, Jimmy Lake, who's going to stay, who's got to go. Give us your thoughts.
I'll start with Jimmy Lake. Jimmy Lake absolutely has to go. You can't trot into 2025 and sell the fan base that, yeah, Jimmy Lake is going to come back. Can't do that. We witnessed one of the worst defenses in recent memory for the Falcons for the first, 10 or 11 weeks, right? And it wasn't until after the bye that Coach Ra had a say or more input in that defense that we started to see a turnaround until today when we had 44 hanging over our head. And that was clearly, as Antonio alluded to earlier, one of the processes in the scapegoat era to get rid of Jimmy Lake so Raheem could protect his ass. Sorry for cursing, but I agree with that 100%. To Raheem Morris, right? Very sensitive for me because honestly, and I'll keep this short, Raheem stays only if Terry is allowed to stay in Atlanta. That's the way that I feel about that. If Terry leaves, I'm afraid for Raheem. I don't think that Raheem is retained by the next GM.
I ain't afraid for him.
If the next GM is told you have complete control, nobody's safe, not even the head coach, that GM is going to want to clean house. Well, he's going to want to clear house. So that's where I'll leave that, man.
Yeah, I got a question for everybody. And Larry, you on your way up, you can touch in on it. But if we fire the GM and we bring in, and he brings in a whole new coaching staff, isn't that like taking like 4 or 5 steps back when you have expectations go into next season trying to win the Super Bowl with Michael Penix at the helm? Because you know you're not going to win in that season or the next season. So you almost putting yourself into like a total rebuild.
Yes.
But Larry,
not if they know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, maybe.
They still got to learn the offense. Larry, it's on you, sir, and thank you for waiting patiently. Again, welcome to the show, guys. We got a star-studded cast up in here. First off, I feel honored to share the stage with you, gentlemen. Larry, tell us your thoughts. You're muted, Larry. I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Appreciate you having me on the platform. Like always, guys, make sure you hit the like button. It's the lifeblood of all our streams. Help us get in the algorithm. Helps our streams grow. Appreciate you. So, I need the crowd that wants to keep Raheem to tell me what has he done to improve the team. Not just because we want to hold some kind of sound stability of a team that's totally dysfunctional. So we want to keep the dysfunction. Tell me what has Raheem done this season to improve this team outside of us winning one game? Is one game enough to say we improve? Because everything you guys named about, you said you got to keep Raheem for stability. But the best thing that's done happened for this season is actually we picking up Michael Penix and him showing why we picked him up and being so it had nothing to do with Raheem. Raheem is a defensive coach and didn't really get involved until a couple of weeks ago for a defense that was super struggling. And it wasn't after the bye. It was a little bit, I think it was like, what was it, the Raider game? That wasn't the bye. The bye was the Chargers. So it started at like one game after the bye. But either way, I feel what you're saying, Berto. What are you trying to preserve?
Yeah.
Well, someone tell me what Raheem Morris have done on the field to retain his job.
Not a
Now, if you
damn
want to say
thing.
if Arthur Smith got 3 years, then he got 3 years, that's another discussion. If you're on that train, I understand it. But what I'm watching is buffoonery. And it started from the preseason.
Let me ask you this question, Larry.
Yes.
How are we dysfunctional? Do dysfunctional teams win 8 games, or do they win? Like, is there a point of demarcation for dysfunctional teams? Like,
what was the motto of the team that was branded by Coach Raheem? Outrun the South.
We definitely failed, but that doesn't mean we're when you say dysfunctional.
What progression did we did on defense? We were worse than last year with less talent.
Yep.
I'm trying to understand what has Raheem Morris done as a coach when he stood by and watched us only have 10 sacks for the first half of the season.
He improved the defense in the last 5 weeks. As a matter of fact, in the last 5 weeks, we have more sacks than anybody. So if you want to,
how many wins did that produce? What is his time clock management? Why did we end the game with 2 timeouts? Did he think we were going to use them in the overtime?
I'm not saying
these are things.
I'm not saying he's performed excellently, but these are all things that can be corrected. And these are not reasons why you take a step back and bring another coach in here, knowing you just sacrificed another year. Look,
how is it a sacrifice?
Because
I'm sorry.
Most teams, and I'm not saying all, most teams do not. And when you bring in a new coach, that first year is not a great one. Now, I know there are some outliers, but most teams are not going to excel that first year because they got to learn a new system. You only have Algier and Pitts for another 2 years. In other words, the nucleus of this offense, which is Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, Darnell, you're only going to have that group together for 2 more years.
I wouldn't consider Pitts as part of the nucleus, though.
Okay, everything you're talking about is offense. You ain't named nothing defensive that does the core that Raheem Morris would affect.
Can I make one point though? Just like all of us can sit here on this panel, right? We can discuss common sense, right? If we all can sit here and agree that we all can see how Raheem plotted this whole thing out, and basically how you plotted on your own coordinators to a certain degree, right? And we all can sit here and we can recognize that. What makes you think Terry can't see that? Arthur Blank can't see that? You see what I'm saying? Because, like I said this, I mean, you can go back and look at it. I said it a long time ago. Like, Raheem brought in people that couldn't challenge him. Period.
Now that's a good point. That I agree with that. I agree with.
They couldn't question him. They couldn't challenge him. They couldn't do none of that. Now, if it was somebody that came in here, if he hired a defensive coordinator that had experience, right?
So
then he can maybe go to Raheem and be like, "Look, this right here ain't working." Like, I wouldn't care how many years experience that he had. Yeah, he might be the head coach.
Thank you, Antonio.
If you brought in the defensive coordinator that knew what he was doing, he could go to Raheem and say this, that, and the third.
Thank you, Antonio.
But nobody that can actually challenge him or question him.
Where advise him.
So let me ask y'all this question. So for a regular coach, how long does it take to build his roster up? Let me ask you that.
Well, normally when you get a new coach, you're in a full rebuild type of situation. When you go out to Kirk Cousins and get your quarterback, when you go out and get a Matthew Judon and spend a 3rd round pick on him, when you go get Justin Simmons on a 1-year deal, when you go get Darnell Mooney, you know what I'm saying? These are all moves to win the division. This ain't no full rebuild like what the Panthers are doing. So don't compare it to what the Panthers are. See, this is what I'm talking about.
See, but the thing is, I'm not comparing it to the Panthers.
Oh, no.
I'm not comparing it to the Panthers. But my thing is, at the end of the day, he inherited a 4-3 scheme defense. Have we forgot that?
3-4 last year.
Hold on. We played 4-3 last year. He inherited a 4-3 scheme defense last year and tried to pull a 3-4 scheme together. They spent over $80 million last year on this defense, remember?
Yes.
So
Yes, we did.
how can you convert something when it takes time? That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. Well, if we had that personnel, we did play traces of 3-4 also.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
And you can put a 4-3 scheme in a 3-4. Is that me, y'all?
I heard some huge static, so I didn't know.
Yeah,
It was
that's
me.
what I was asking. Was that me? I heard the stagger as well.
Yeah, I heard
Okay.
it.
But it takes time to get the players that you need to fit the scheme. If you want to build on and move forward within your franchise, you just can't go hiring and firing coaches because you may hire the next wrong coach, and that may set you back another 3 to 4 years.
I
Even
felt
though
like we did
Raheem made mistakes, you must forget that he wasn't a head coach for over 10 years, so mistakes is going to be made, Dixon. And the progress. And I think Raheem will progress this team to a point that we will be contenders again. Now, the 6-3 and the fall off, I completely understand. That was a monumental fall off, what we had to go on now. But the thing is, technically, again, he's a first-year head coach again because he hasn't been in over 10 years. So mistakes are made. We can't go around hiring and firing. Arthur Blank is not going to do that because for the simple fact it is, he's not going to want to pay 2 fired head coaches. He's still paying Arthur Smith right now. So what makes
I
you think
agree
he
on
wants?
that. I know
We
he's
all
not going to
understand
do
that,
that.
Dane.
Hey, and then
That
Yeah,
don't mean
I
that we don't
understand
want
that
his
part.
ass gone.
hey, and to piggyback off what you said, the reason why, like I said, why get rid of Terry this year when you can just pin all of them together for next season? And then if it don't work, you make your decision. But
You
right
make it.
now, I just say get rid of Jimmy Lake because see what I'm basically trying to say is I
Okay.
seen a defense that gave up, but the offense didn't give up under him. The offense
Yeah.
was still playing for him. But the defense wasn't, and I don't think the defense wasn't playing for Rob. I think the defense won. I think the players are tired of that scheme, and they showing the players are basically because, like I said, after them first 1 or 2 or 3 defensive drives, I knew it was over because I seen the base defensive scheme we was in.
Yeah.
Quit
Okay, let me ask
trying to
y'all
run
this.
a 3-4 without a zero tech. If you're
Yeah.
not gonna have a middle linebacker and a zero tech, at least have the zero tech and let
And the
Yes.
Landman
players,
and Ellis
Who in here
scout
actually
behind me.
look, and the players
believes
also.
who in here actually believes that Terry had anything to do with Raheem's hiring in the first place? I don't.
No,
I actually
McKay
do.
had everything to do with that. I already
Yeah.
know McKay did because he had beef with Belichick. That's but see, my thing is
Okay, that's fair.
when Larry says it for me, I don't think he lost. After me watching the game today, at first I was questioning did he lose the locker room? Because if he did, then you do have to get rid of him. That's just what it is. But
Mhm.
I can't really say he lost it because I just watched the offense, bro. When the game we watch our offense put up 40 points.
Yeah.
Please show me one.
But that's
I'm
not
So
gonna
Raheem.
tell you
I
how I
just
actually
watched our
feel
And
though.
that
offense
aspect too, you
jail
gotta
today.
remember who we
Raheem.
played too. We played the Carolina Panthers, whose
Yeah.
secondary is
No, but what I'm saying
abysmal.
is I'm speaking on the team's morale. I'm not talking about the team
Yeah,
we playing.
yeah. I
Because the
understand what you're
offense
saying.
could have gave. See what y'all failing to realize. The offense could have gave up too.
Yeah,
Because the
I hear
Panthers
what you're
matched
saying
us
too, but it also
touchdown for
depends
touchdown.
on
The
the scheme
offense
that's being
didn't give
called
up.
too.
But the
Because
thing
If
about it,
you got a
I don't
4-3
really think the offense did
personnel,
give up because our offense is so talented that no matter what they did, they was gonna be successful at it anyway. So I don't think that they
Thank you,
gave
Antonio.
up. I don't think they gave up. It's
Yeah,
not like you're gonna hand the ball up to Bijan and he not gonna run.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not like you're gonna throw the ball to Drake and he's gonna be like, "Oh man, fuck that, I ain't catching
I'm
that."
gonna drop it. Yeah, yeah.
but
The
I'm just
thing is,
saying you
you
don't
saw
know
a whole
that
new
though.
offense. You
You
saw a
don't
whole new
really know
offense
that.
when the defense got put in the 4-3 as opposed to the 3-4. The guys played energized. They played ready to play every play when they was in that 3. I mean, in the 4-3. And on the offensive side of the ball, when Penix got made, was appointed at quarterback, man, the guy was out there. Even Pitts was out there running his route like he wanted to be. He wanted the pass to come to him. So it was far too late of a decision for Raheem Morris. Kirk Cousins should have got benched long time ago. He should have got
That's
benched.
the main issue. That's the main issue.
Yeah, he should have got benched long time ago. And if he wanted to hold accountability,
exactly,
he should hold himself accountability. He should have held himself accountable for not making that decision. There is no other team or no other quarterback in this world that could have played the way Kirk Cousins played and continued to play. I don't care. The money is out the window. It's all about wins and losses at that point. When you start playing like that, you go see the bench. Tom Brady got benched when he threw 2 interceptions and a fumble. He got benched, and he had to come back the next game and figure it out.
Raheem Morris, why
I will say this though. Had he never benched Kirk Cousins, Raheem ass would have got fired.
Yeah, 100%.
You want to
got fired.
You want to know what makes what you say even crazier? Because when Kirk was in that Denver game, and I'm gonna keep saying this because I know what I seen. They had Kirk on that injured report as shoulder, questionable.
Yeah, they did.
His throwing arm got hit. I watched the play myself. So my biggest issue with you is, I'm not saying fire you, but you need to do some deep soul searching. Because truthfully, if you'd have sat Cool I watched Cool, I went to the game. Cool limped over there to take a field goal.
Thank y'all making my point.
Then if you'd have sat Cool before the bye week, if you'd have brought Michael Penix out during the bye week, Cool would have been healthy, and Michael Penix will have 2 more starts. Because if you notice this game, that offense, even though they dropped balls in the first quarter, once they learn how that boy throw the ball, we gonna be deadly. I promise you.
But ultimately, that decision came down to who? Ultimately, that decision came down to who? It came down to Raheem.
Yeah, that's the one point that everybody up here is making. Everybody up here has gave it a valid point, but guess what?
When it came to Cousins, that was ultimately Raheem's choice.
It came down to coaching, whether it be offensive coordinator coaching, defensive line coaching, defensive coordinator coaching, head coaching. It all came down to coaching. Because one thing for certain, this is the same team that went to Philadelphia and played in arguably the most hostile environment in football.
Yes.
And beat Philadelphia. Granted, it was, by the hands of Philadelphia's mistake, but at the same time, it's how we played them, how we looked playing them. We played them tough. We played Kansas City tough. Well, Kansas City and the refs, we played them tough. We played Tampa Bay. We kicked Tampa Bay's butt. This is the same team. So the only thing that's changed since beginning of the season to now is the coaching decisions. And they made the quarterback change, which should have got changed definitely after the Chargers game. It should have got made, but it should have got changed but that's the only thing that's changed. So
truthfully, if you'd have changed that quarterback at the bye week, we were still 6-3, 6-4. So truthfully, now see, this is why I don't have. This is when I really take my fan hat off and I really do look at it. You really did do what you said you was gonna do. You outran the South, but then you outran yourself.
Yeah.
You outran the South, because we were 6-3, 6-4 by the bye week. If you'd have went on and sat Kirk Cousins and went on and brought Michael Penix out there and let him get his, because he gonna make his rookie mistakes. Let him get that out during these first couple of games. So when we come in this last stretch, they'd already jailed. So
hitting it.
Truthfully, we weren't gonna see Michael Penix to 2027 had Kirk worked out.
That's true.
Was already the plan.
That's true.
So really, the only real big decision that he didn't make that messed up that's bigger than that timeout is not switching out Kirk Cousins at the right time.
Speaking of
Agreed.
coaching
Guys,
decisions, too.
hang on, Cowboy. Hang on.
Yeah,
We
go
got
ahead.
Uncle
Go ahead.
Steve- We got Uncle Steve joining the panel. Uncle Steve, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing out there
What's going
today?
on?
I know
What's
there's
going
a
on, Uncle Steve?
lot of
Doing
tears
good.
and a lot of opinions and things of that nature. So I am just sitting back, waiting to explode, and also waiting for people to show me all these wonderful coaching candidates that are going to just turn this thing around in 1 year.
Right.
So
Yes.
I'm sitting back, taking a deep breath,
Thank you.
letting all these irrational, I'm ready to
Yes.
change everything in
Yes.
1 year things.
Not gonna happen.
And I'm just listening. I'm listening
Yes.
for a minute. I am.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
taking it. Taking
I
it
think
in.
all of us being Falcons fans, we all have PTSD.
Yeah,
Now
Jim,
that, hey, Antonio,
right here.
Antonio, hang on. Antonio, I'm gonna spotlight you, brother. Don't go anywhere. I'm about to spotlight you because you said a mouthful, sir. God dang it. I gotta figure out how to do it. Damn it. I can't do it. Wait a minute. There we go. Hang on. Damn it.
Hey, while you figure that out, let me put a point out there to you too. One major decision that I didn't know until this game here or the previous game, that you drafted a quarterback at number 8 who's supposed to be your future, yet you don't work him out with your team, your number ones, the player that supposedly is going to be the core of this offense in the future. You don't work your quarterback out with that core. I didn't know he had practice with the number one.
Hey, guys, hold that thought.
Normal. That's normal.
Antonio, I got to give you your props, man, because you dropped 2 major bombs today. Say what you said again.
Well, as Falcons fan, we all got PTSD.
Yes. Yes.
I'm be honest with you. As a Falcons fan now, I honestly feel like Bill Murray in that movie Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Because we wake up every year to the same bullshit this time of year.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for the last 7 years.
I bring that up, and guys, we'll get back to it in a second, but I bring it up to say that is a very real thing, right? So, guys, we're all podcasters, we're all content creators, we all see people out in the streets. I met this lady yesterday, and she was a Falcons fan, and she said, you know what, I hadn't watched the Falcons since 2016. There are so many people that have not turned on a television because of what happened, and it's a real thing. And I bring it up to say that a lot of what you're hearing, especially after a bad season, is basically just triggers, right? It's just, even you alluded to it, Antonio, when you said, you know what, I just don't like him because he was a part of that 28-3, and I think he's cursed, and it was a joke. But PTSD is a real thing. I bring it up because in the next couple of weeks, we're going to do a show on that. And I would really love for you guys to tune in because I think we all know somebody who really is. When you hear those Falcon fans out there saying, same old Falcons, here we go again. We could be 6-3, we could be 10-2, but at the first sign of adversity, they kind of retreat to this shell. It is because collectively as a fan base, we do have PTSD. So thank you for making that point. I know you were talking. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead with what you were saying, brother.
But I honestly know what PTSD feels like because even when I came back from Iraq, my kids used to ask me all the time. We'd be downtown in Atlanta, and I'd be looking up at the windows and rooftops and stuff like that because that's a real thing.
Yes.
Some images you just can't shake. Like that's my if I'm used to looking up because you always got snipers or shooters on the roof. So even though I know I'm home and I'm safe and I'm with my kids, I'm still because I'm programmed that way.
Right.
The Falcons have us all programmed to a certain extent.
Right.
So, we want to have the best, and we look at and any of us sitting here right now, we can go back to August and September when we was like, oh yeah, we're making our predictions. I'm looking at 11, 12 wins and all of that, and then we go through the season and we start looking at everything that goes on. I know people don't want to say, okay, like Uncle Steve said, like, where are we gonna get this new head coach from? My whole thing is this: at this point in time, I wouldn't give a damn if it was the coach from the Water Boy. And I'm just being honest. If it was the coach from the Water Boy, and you know he came in here and he made the right choices, the right decisions, Raheem let a lot of stuff go awry for a long time. Starting with Koo, then letting Cousins ride out, knowing that we was in a playoff run, and holding on to timeouts like it was the last of the vibranium. Like, dude, come on, man.
That's a Marvel reference, guys. For those of you who don't follow Marvel. Hey, man, good points. And look, I'm with you up until the point where you just say, let's just bring in anybody, because I don't want to take a step back just for the sake of taking a step back. I do agree Raheem did not perform well. There are 4 pillars that I think Raheem needs to improve upon, and I think Dixon Way, I agree with you guys. The timeouts got to go. That's got to be fixed. The haughtiness, the arrogance in interviews, the defensiveness, that's got to be fixed. The waiting too long to make a decision, be it personnel or defensive scheme, has got to be fixed. But the good news is all of that can be fixed. And even in the face of all of that, it is not worth sacrificing a season. Now, let me tell you something. If we had a bunch of rookies, I got no issue getting rid of Raheem, right? But we on offense, and I'm going to say this, I know I've said it 5 times, on offense, guys, this team is good enough to win a Super Bowl. You give us an adequate defense. You give us a good defense. This team is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Ron, you've been very patient. What you got, sir?
I said it before. I will say it again. Raheem Morris has not ever built a team.
You don't have to build a team to win, Ron.
You got to build a team. If you look at, if you want to be great in the NFL, you got to build a team. No matter what.
No, you can take a team. So look, Barry Switzer won with Jimmy Johnson's team. He won a Super Bowl. You don't have to necessarily build it. Now, you got to be able to coach. This is what I'll give you. Raheem screwed the pooch this year. I'm not saying he didn't. So fire him and bring in a new offensive coordinator. I think you're going to take a step back, and I think it's a waste of time. I think it's a waste of time. That's just my thought. Go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
Anybody else? You got to have somebody in your corner when you messing up. They got to be able to, I don't want to say check you, but challenge you. As like, no, you messing up. You don't need to do that play. You don't need to play that defense. You don't need to have safeties 20 yards back. You got to have somebody to call you on your bluff. And Raheem did not have nobody on that defense. We call him on his bluff this year.
Ron, let me ask you a question. How can you build a team when you inherit a team? How can you build a team within 1 year?
I don't think your microphone was up high enough. Can you repeat that, please?
How can you build a team within 1 year, Ron?
What I mean by building,
like, y'all act like Ron. Y'all act like Dan Campbell built Detroit yesterday. Y'all listen. Let me tell you something, and there's no excuse for Raheem. This is a horrible end to the year, especially going 6-3. I keep hearing that same thing. You should have changed the quarterback to 6-3. For what? Kirk Cousins just came off 2 player of the week. We were 6-3. He threw for 1,000 yards in 3 games. We were all drinking the Kool-Aid. Let's not pretend like we were all down with Kirk Cousins. Everybody try to act like Kirk Cousins is a scourge now.
But when I said building a team,
I can go. Hold on, Ron. I can let every last one of y'all and go to every stream of every one of y'all, and we can all go back to we were all drinking it. We were all sipping. So my issue is, again, it's no problem admitting that you were 2-6 down the line. You made mistakes. You made correctable mistakes. Quite honestly, You didn't make mistakes that can't be corrected. But it's just this amazing thought process. I almost to a man want Raheem to get fired. And I want to hear all these Nostradamus folks that think that just because we're going to let's bring Brian Flores in here. Ben Johnson looks like he's going to be. What do you need Ben Johnson for? We scored 38 today with Michael Penix.
Correct.
What do you need that for?
Correct.
We scored against the Commanders last week. Michael Penix is going to be fine.
Okay,
but it's knee-jerk reaction. I'm going to let you finish 1 second because I need to get this stream of consciousness out real quick because it picks me off when I keep hearing this. Y'all act like we just came in here and the Falcons were 12-5 last year, and we expected Raheem to take us to the Super Bowl.
That's that PTSD.
We gotta stop with that mentality. Like just because Bill Belichick does it, we can do it. Just because Andy Reid does it, that we can do it. Raheem is not elite. I was not on board to hire Raheem at the beginning of the year. But I'm not gonna sit up here and demonize him the whole time. We weren't talking about how bad he was at 6-3. 6-3, we had him as the culture changer and the coach of the year and all of that. So my only point of that is I understand the frustration. Trust me, been there, done that for decades. But I just want this faulty narrative of, well, all we got to do is change out the coach and whatever. And guess what happens? Next year will be worse. And then we'll all be sitting here with the same thing. We'll have the same people talking about, I'm canceling my season tickets, and they'll be there next year. We'll have the same people sitting in the comments right now that's acting like, I'm through. Raheem is done. Y'all will be here next year, too. Been there, done that, folks.
Because we are all fans with PTSD.
Absolutely.
Let me ask y'all this. Yo, y'all got friends when y'all mess up or before y'all mess up, your friend tell you, hey, dog, you don't need to do that? Don't y'all got somebody around y'all?
1 year in football. What successful team quits after 1 year in football and expects to turn it around?
But let me finish. Dan Campbell took 3 years to build what he got.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, he got somebody in his corner. He got somebody in his corner to tell him when he running the wrong play. We don't got somebody over here like that.
Ron, who is telling Dan Campbell in his corner, telling him that he's running the wrong play? Ron,
that doesn't make sense.
Hey, y'all got to remember, we are the Atlanta Falcons, so it's going to take 2-3 years to get what we to build where we need to go. Remember when we brought in Chris Chandler, nobody in the world knew we were going to go 14-2 with Chris Chandler in that first year, or 14-2, and then the next we go to Super Bowl. Nobody thought that, and we did that with far less talent than what we have now. Ooh. There's no way.
Can we agree? Can we agree that Raheem finessed the hell out of us?
Yeah.
Any coach that would have came in would have got that. I mean, they would have sold
us. What was he supposed to say, guys? Let me ask you a question. What was he supposed to say? Guys, we're gonna suck. It's gonna be the same old thing as it was years before. I'm playing with your heart. I'm gonna disappoint you all, and you all are. I mean, what was he supposed to say?
And plus, coach is gonna say what they have to say to get the crowd in their corner. It's not a finesse. Every coach does that, Antonio. Every press conference a coach have, they're gonna say the right things to make sure that they're just gonna say the right things in general. That wasn't a finesse. That was the expectation he was laying upon himself as well for this season.
But you know what I figured out today? I figured out how to get 100% disability from the military just telling them I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan.
All right. Okay. Larry, what you got? Larry,
Boy,
what
you
you got?
crazy, Antonio.
Larry, what you got?
Antonio, give me
Let me
that
say
count.
this, and I'm gonna get quiet. The thing is, at the end of the day, you have to give a coach 2 to 3 years to put his
Yes.
scheme together.
Yes.
I agree.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes.
It's a rare occasion for a coach to come in winning from the jump.
Thank you.
And we trying to hop on a board of getting rid of a coach. If you just think about the culture in Atlanta, if you get rid of Raheem right now, ain't no coach gonna want to come to Atlanta because they're gonna be in fear of their job after the first year.
Larry, what you got?
And the
Hey, you
coordinators,
can't get rid of Jimmy Lake though.
Yeah, you can.
definitely.
You can't. You can get rid of Jimmy.
No, you don't get rid of nobody. Leave them here. They need 3 years. Leave them here. Leave Jimmy Lake here. He needs 3 years. He don't have the personnel.
Yeah.
Nah, you can't have it both ways. You're just gonna keep everybody. No. Hold on.
Jimmy,
Let me get on
That's
that.
a head coach.
even that's the case, even if that's the
Let me
case,
get
big
this out.
dog.
Let me get this out.
That's the case, big dog. At least he'll
I'll
have the
mute.
personnel what he'll have to run a stagnant defense.
Let Larry speak. Larry, go ahead. He waited. Go ahead, Larry.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
Come on, Larry.
Look. But no, that's fine. That's fine because, again, it's okay to have the narrative if you want to get rid of folks. That's fine. And you're going to get a whole new offensive coordinator, whole new defense coordinator, and start all over again. That's fine. Be mad. It's all good. We cool. But at the same time, again, most of the solid teams take 1 or 2 years to build it right. How many people want to get rid of Dan Quinn that first year after starting 5-0 and get rid of him? There were a lot of folks that wanted to get rid of him. Oh, he ain't got no business coach. Next 2 years, we end up in the divisional championship and the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, it's just not always throw it out, crumble it up, throw it in the trash can. And before anybody comes out and say, Gerard Mayo got hired after 1 year, he got fired after 1 year because he was sitting under Bill Belichick in the same environment and they hired within. They didn't change much. So that's a whole different situation.
And I think it was in his contract that they had to hire him. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead, Larry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
All right. We are comparing other organizations to the Falcons. To have a stable organizations, you got to give your head coach at least 3 to 4 years. Normally, I would agree with that. If we wasn't handpicked, I don't know who wanted Kirk Cousins. I feel like Raheem really wanted to push for him because, like he kept reiterating in his presser, we need to get better at the quarterback position. You know what I'm saying? He would be non-committal to Dez. And then when we got Kirk Cousins, he basically said, look, this team was a quarterback away. If we have a better quarterback, the Atlanta Falcons have a better quarterback, I don't even have this job. So I feel like he kept them in there just because that was basically him going to bat for Kirk Cousins, saying, hey, I think he'll be okay with this Achilles injury. I want to take the risk. And I think everybody in the organization was thoroughly impressed with Michael Penix after that workout. And they changed their whole draft board for that. You know what I'm saying? I think those are the chain of events. They did not. They initially, it felt like they was going after Justin Fields, but negotiations broke down after they met just before the combine. If you remember, Terry and Brian Poles met just the day before the combine, and it was all kind of rumors about, hey, they're talking, they're going to be in extensive talks of trying to get Justin Fields. All kind of scenarios was saying, hey, it wouldn't cost much, but then all of a sudden, it was like negotiations broke off. They may talk soon, and then all of a sudden, Kirk Cousins popped up. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff happened real quick, you know. And I don't think that Michael Penix was really on their radar. Like, they knew of him, they knew his skill. It's not saying they didn't scout. Michael Penix because of course he did. You know what I'm saying? Terry loves the offensive skill players. That's the pattern that he's done since he's been here. He's drafted in the first round at least. His most important draft pick are the offensively skilled players, and those are the best players on our team right now. To be truth be told, outside of Jesse Bates, who is definitely one of the best pickups in Falcon history. So I will give Terry some grace on that. I'm of the mindset that if anybody should be retained now, when I look at it from the rooftop, it might be Terry if Arthur feels like, hey, you got me my franchise quarterback, just like Thomas Dimitroff got me Matt Ryan. That it's gonna buy you some slack. You know what I'm saying? And that may happen. I'm of the mindset that no one's gonna get fired. Don't mean I'm not gonna voice my displeasure about how this season went. But again, I'm kind of grading Coach like I graded Ritter. I had some expectations. Hopefully it'll get better. Once he got a full season, we all saw what it was. You know what I'm saying? I kind of feel the same way about Raheem. But hopefully in that interview about saying, hey, I feel like I don't need to address that is a slap in the face. It's his prerogative to do that if he want to.
Yeah.
But when you couple that with the preseason,
yes,
no preseason, telling them, I don't care what y'all think, my starters ain't gonna play in the preseason as long as I'm the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I'm saying? You start noticing these things, you know what I'm saying? And this is why you know what I'm saying, if they keep him, fine, let's hope that, you know what I'm saying, he learns from his mistakes. But I feel like if we're giving Raheem the excuse of, hey, we need to let him get at least 3 years, then damn it, Jimmy Lake needed to, because Raheem had more input in building this defense. He went out and recruited Judon and told Terry it was worth giving up a third-round pick to get Judon. He went and got, you know, he's the one at the table negotiating with these players, trying to recruit them to come in. So he had a lot of say-so in what this team was. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't, oh my God, it's just, no, he had say-so, especially we spent the most money in the offseason on the defense. So Raheem got to put his fingerprints on it. Now, can we improve it? Of course. Do the players fit the scheme? No. But again, we only got 4 draft picks. I assume all of them are going to go to defense outside of a right tackle, most likely, to try to work in. But other than that, with the flexibility, we're going to have to cut some fan favorites, most likely. Brady Jarrett, something like that, to relieve some of this cap.
And God, I hope
so we're not going to be the same team. We got guys on 1-year contract. We got to fill them up. I think we got a total of 12 players that could be unrestricted free agents coming up, and only 4 picks and under the salary cap gun. So maybe they bring in. I think if Terry must stay for Raheem to keep his job. I think a new GM might not want to be saddled with him, you know. So everybody is saying that Terry need to go. Maybe Terry get an extension of 2 years, so they run out their course together. But yeah, I'm kind of just looking at it perspective as, okay, well, if we got to give him that time, then Jimmy Lake had less say so in the personnel than Raheem. All right. So if we're gonna give Raheem grace, you got to give Jimmy Lake grace. Just saying. If we're gonna give him grace and say, hey, we're gonna mess up what we got, then and we're all saying that we don't have the personnel to run the defense you want to do, then, and Raheem had a hand in building that defense with hand in hand 50-50 from what Terry Fontenot said, then why wouldn't you give I mean, I don't think I don't think none of them should be retained, to be honest. But
Jimmy Lake was a
if we're going to give people grace,
then
give them grace.
Yeah. I like this comment that Jay Black got on here about next year's schedule. And I like that. I would like for our schedule to be tougher because it seems like we played a tougher, better team. Better. We said we played, and like we lay down for some reason for these teams that are playing less than 500 ball. But you talking about Grace Delaire? Is that same grace extended over to Zach Robinson? Are we satisfied with his play calling, with the talent that he has?
Everybody get grace. If Raheem get grace, why wouldn't Zach? Zach offense, regardless on how we think about the offensive play call sometime, that's been a shining point of this team.
Larry, you're playing sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek. As Raheem's the CEO.
He said, "Of course I am." You're playing games. Jimmy Lake has, especially on the last couple of weeks, it's a fireable offense, especially today. I'm saying as the CEO of the team with Raheem, I think it would be wise to at least give him one more year to, you're right, plenty of mistakes this year, but you give him that opportunity to try. I've seen first-year coaches do much worse than what he's done this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna sit here and just say, oh well, he didn't take us to the playoffs. Horrible. We expected more. But I just think to get rid of him after 1 year is, I think you go back to the bag again. We'll have the same conversation. We're gonna have the same conversation. Then it'll turn into, well, we always hiring new offensive coordinators if you go get Ben Johnson. Well, we always hiring first year coaches if you get Aaron Glenn or anybody of that ilk. Well, if we go get Rex Ryan, we just retreading old coaches. The narrative is gonna be whatever you want to make it, however you want to skew it. I just think in the bigger scheme of things, we went 8-9. You made some mistakes. They are correctable. The Kirk Cousins thing threw everything off. And I just wanted to throw back to you when we're talking about the decisions about Kirk Cousins. We came off 2 years in a row where Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder were our primary starters. You went out and got what was supposed to be the best free agent quarterback on the market, even though he's 35 and coming off an Achilles. Mm-hmm. If we didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it. And I'm not saying that's why we did it. I'm just saying somebody else was going to pay Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So when I get back to the Monday morning quarterback of, we should have made the move then. No, nobody thought Kirk Cousins would take a nosedive in 4 weeks. Nobody did. And it's easy to play that game. It just happened. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do y'all realize Mike Thomas might not be there next year? Mike Thomas lost 4 games in a row. When the last time you heard the Steelers going into the playoffs losing 4 games in a row? And please don't say what now?
I thought he got signed. I thought they extended him.
Don't matter. According to the book of Larry, he can get fired because he took a slide down the end. So I'm just saying, before we just knee-jerk into get rid of everybody, give the man 1 more year. And honestly, give the man 1 more year with this guy at quarterback. Folks, I was sitting there those what were you saying, Larry?
We're comparing a guy that's never had a losing season in his life to a guy who's never had a winning season.
You talking about comparing like that, Larry? I'm talking about he's losing. You talking about getting rid of somebody who loses.
He had a winning season and he's going to the playoffs. It's not even remotely close. It's not even remotely close. That's not
So-
even a good
I have
analogy,
to agree with that one.
Steve. It's not.
So,
That's
so
not
two
even a good
analogies.
analogy.
So
That's
Larry,
leading the witness, bro.
Larry, two analogies. You're looking at the first 5 years or first 6 years of Bill Belichick. He had a losing record, right? So
He should have been
again,
fired.
my point is we have to give coaches room to grow. The Dan Quinn's first year, he was 8-8.
Fired.
Right? And look it. All I'm saying is it makes no sense to fire everybody, bring in a new coach when you know for sure you're going to take a step back. You guys are sacrificing next year because why? Because you're mad?
Because we're mad.
Fire.
Fire.
Your feelings are hurt? Right. Let me hold on. Let me tell you what this is akin to. This is akin to, right? You being mad. Somebody comes in your yard and they dump trash, right? So because you're mad, you go to their house, kick the door in, break all their windows, which is worse than what they did, and the consequences for you are going to be worse, right? If you fire every coach that we have, I promise you next year we'll have a losing record. I promise you the year after, we probably won't make the playoffs. You're looking at now 4 years. It's been 7. Get ready for 11 if we do what you guys want just because you're mad. I'm not saying Raheem performed great. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be reprimanded because he does. He got it wrong this year. But a couple of things he did right. That defense, the past 3-4 weeks, shifting it, he got it right. We had the most sacks in the league. Not a whole lot of coaches can do that. Number 2, and most important, and the drum that I've been beating forever is why are you going to waste the offensive tools that we have now? Because you're pissed. Because I promise you next year, when we're 8-9 again, and we're right back on this podcast talking the same trash, what are you guys gonna say? You gonna fire him? You gonna say fire him too? At a certain point, you got to put your foot in the sand. You got to make a decision and go with it and stand on it. And damn it, we need to stick with Raheem for at least another year. Those are just my thoughts, guys.
Hey, Terry, I know a lot of people will be pissed, but I don't think it's solely the reason because people are pissed. It's because of non-performance. I would think it's more along that line as opposed to us firing him because we're pissed.
Let me ask you a question. Did he go 5-11? Did we not have a chance? Even in the worst collapse of any quarterback in the last 10 years, did we not at least have a chance last week to make the playoffs? I'm not saying he was perfect, right? But it's not like he came out here and went 2-14 or 2-15. So look,
that goes back to
wrong. Yes,
that still goes back to non-performance because we got that chance of going to the playoffs because other teams are either winning or losing, not because of something that we did. So it goes back to. I hear your point, but I don't think that if let's just say Raheem Morris does get fired, I don't think it's going to be because Arthur Blank was just mad how the season turned out.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, even if Arthur Smith is mad, the prudent and wise thing to do is not to fire him because if you bring a new coach in here, you got a new situation, you got new playbooks that the players have to learn, and you're not going to win next year. And if you think you're going to win next year, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. You're not going to win.
Okay, I can tell you
build that bridge.
The only reason why I'm really optimistic about this team is because technically, barring bad coaching and decisions, this team was actually a 12-5 team.
Yes,
easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Easily.
Yeah,
easily.
Sure.
But see, the thing is, what we forgetting, and the main thing we are forgetting, even though the coaches make indecisive decisions, at the end of the day, the players have to execute. If the players do not execute, then again, we gonna have seasons like this. So my thing is, why give smoke to one area and not give smoke to all of the areas?
True.
I can agree with that, but I'm gonna give it where like, hey, 12-5, we was easily 12-5.
A 12-5 team that a defensive line could generate sacks in the first half of the season until the second half of the season as well,
I'm not
and
looking at defense. I'm looking at the game you
competent
lost. I'm
quarterback
looking at
play
the game you
with
lost to
one
bad coaching.
touchdown and 9 interceptions. So with that being said, and then on the film sessions, Kirk Cousins had ample amount of time from time to time, Antonio. So with that being said, the execution of the players plays a major role in this too.
I understand that, but you want to go back to talk about the sacks that we received. Like we was always in games and wasn't getting no sacks.
That's true too, but at hand, what was the other aspects of the games that made us to lose?
Coaching.
Coaching for one,
but you also too had very bad
incompetent quarterback play from our agent Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Because you had a
That
defense
still came
that
down
gave
to
you
coaching.
what defense gave you
Ride
5
them out
sacks
that
in the
long.
game. And I don't know no team that has ever gave their team 5 sacks in the game and they turned around and lost it. So it was totally on Kirk Cousins to at least 4 touchdowns. So when you can't get your team, especially when you spend that much time in the red zone and you can't get in you can't get a touchdown out of it unless Bijan Robinson using his skill to do it. Something. I mean, what better quarterback play? I don't know. I don't like it.
And that's the thing too. But in the red zones, you have a quarterback looking at one receiver. It's gonna make it hard to score.
Hey, and I might be petty on this one, but I seriously think, and like I say, it might be a stretch, but I seriously think that there was a controversy between Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts over that number 8 jersey. Because there's no way in the world you can have a comparable player like Kyle Pitts. You don't go see that man, and on the short path. There's no way. Penix has no problem finding him. I mean, granted, Kyle Pitts, got some suspect hands, in some of these throws that were coming to him. But I still think it was something there. Because there was a conversation at the beginning of the season, and people think that Kyle Pitts went and tampered with Kirk Cousins. But I think that conversation had to do with that jersey. And I think from that conversation, everything was thrown off. That's just my opinion. I'm just a couch guy. I don't know football, though.
Yeah, I think Kyle needs to run routes. Kyle needs to finish his routes. And
he's
been
into that. I stood by him about 5 games too long. Every game, I said, "Hey, man, this is a game Kirk Cousins. Kyle Pitts is going to show up." Yeah.
I mean,
I think during the Mariota and Ritter era, I think Kyle Pitts just got used to not getting the ball.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you have ample opportunity, you got guys, you 6'6", and you got guys that are coming out guarding you that are 5'10", 5'11", not even 6 feet.
You got to win those.
You really don't even have to work. You've seen on some of his routes. All he had to do was go up to the guy and bring his arm over the guy, and the ball is right there.
Right, but you got to throw the ball to him first.
Yeah, but he misses them. I mean, you saw it last game. Last game where the ball went through his hands, hit his shoulder. I mean, you got to want to be great. You got to want to be great.
So guys, let's shift the conversation here. Season's over. We're in the off season. You're GM for a day. You're Terry Fontenot. You get re-signed. King Richie, I'm gonna start with you if you're still out there, because Lord knows you've been patient.
Yeah, I'm still here.
King, what's going on, King?
What going on, Steve?
Man, I ain't even see you, man. Put your thing up on the screen, bro. I'm trying to see who I'm talking to. I'm talking Manuel in here, Antonio, and man. He out there naked.
In that case,
I've been back here.
Leave alone, Steve.
Y'all. I'm gonna be honest though. I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like we're going through this offensive thing. I don't keep Raheem. At best, get rid of Jimmy Lake. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Somebody got to go. It is what it is. But I'm gonna send you to a team. Might have a team, waiting for him or something. But yeah, you gotta get up out of here. I'm sorry. After what I seen today, I seen a team that don't want to play for their defensive coordinator in my mind. But yeah, go ahead with your question.
I got you. Well, no, you answered it. Ronnie Thomas, I know you out there, brother. My podcast mate. You've been so patient. Ronnie Thomas, you are Terry Fontenot. What are you doing? What are you doing in the offseason? What are you doing? What are the moves you're making? Ron, you there? Oh, Lord. Ron, you there? All right, we got to go to somebody else. We'll get back to you another time, Ron. We're going to go to, you know what? Let's go to Uncle Steve. We're going to go to Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve, you are Terry Fontenot, sir. You have been extended another 3 years.
Right.
What are you doing, sir? What are you doing with this?
Keeping my head coach. I'm keeping my head coach free, Raheem. No.
Yes, Dan.
I love Raheem.
I think we need to address defense and also keep in mind. I know Larry was talking earlier about the draft picks. That stuff is going to change by the minute. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we gained a supplemental pick for last. I think we're getting one of those back last year. Can I make two moves, Terry?
You can make it all the moves you want.
Okay. First move I'm making, and I heard everybody talk about the Kyle Pitts thing. I'm trading Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
Kyle Pitts is $11 million against the cap. I think you can maybe manage a 4th round pick, maybe 3rd or 4th round, depending on who wants him more, depending on what team wants to take him up. And on defense, I would go on defense. I don't think we're as far away as you think, folks. Get that other cornerback on the other side. There's a reason why we kind of struggled the last two guys. Dude, Mike Hughes couldn't stay healthy. Give Mike Hughes a lot of credit, y'all. The games we played better defense, he was the other guy over there, and he could play man better than Clark, better than God. D. Alford might have to be a casualty this year. Better than D. Alford. And also, this is the one that people not going to want to hear, but our reigning man of the year, you pull him into the office and you say, hey, can we restructure that bad boy so you ain't getting paid as much as you are?
Well,
and Grady Jarrett. And I love me some, but I can't fall in love with players at this point.
Oh, I was going to let him go.
I got it. Well, he still has a little bit of contract. He still has a little bit left. So you talk to him and say, can we restructure what you got? And if he doesn't want to do it, you have to say, so long, Grady. And I know this last one is unpopular. I know I've seen moments where he's gotten kind of beat a couple of times, but I think we can get a mediocre contract out of Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons was better than whatever Richie Grant was out there, and I'll take that as opposed to waiting on Helms to come back, which no guarantee. We still got Helms, no big deal. And if he doesn't end up being what he is, then you can bring Helms in and be the guy. But those are the moves that they be mostly defense, Terry. Mostly defense.
All right. Uncle Steve, thank you. I'm sorry. Mr. Terry Fontenot, thank you. I appreciate it. And we're now going to bring on another Mr. Fontenot, and that is Mr. Dixon Way. Mr. Dixon Way, you are Terry Fontenot for the next 3 years. You have been given all of the power. What are you doing, sir? What are you doing? You're muted. You there?
Okay, yeah. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. First of all, I'm thanking Arthur Blank for letting me retain my job. Appreciate that 3-year extension.
Great mind think alike.
You see, I got my hat backwards because that's how Terry wore it at the training camp. So.
Oh wow! Oh wow! He put thought into this. Okay.
Okay. Secondly, I'm getting all my scouts and I'm telling them I need all the film on every best linebacker. We definitely need help on linebacker. Nate Lemon had a pretty good game this game, and Ellis switching from outside definitely helped him with the pass rush and stuff like that. I think that was the biggest thing and the biggest change that they had all season was moving Ellis to the outside and let him, put pressure and doing some stunts and some games with him, getting in the A and B gap from lining up from the outside, coming in and hitting that A and B gap and get to the quarterback, at least either getting the sack or flushing them out to someone else can get him, or at least getting him off his spot. I think those were the biggest defensive moves. I'll say Coach Rod, Gray, Jimmy Lake, whoever did it, excellent job. We can't depend on Troy Anderson. That's a wasted pick.
Yes.
So thank you for not firing me for drafting him. And of course I'm gonna keep Raheem because that was my pick. And we're gonna try. I'm gonna ask him what did he need to run his defense. I'm not gonna demand him to fire Jimmy Lake, but if we're gonna revamp the defense, I don't know if you bring Judon or Justin Simmons back, but I kind of agree with Steve. If you might be able to get a good cheap deal out of that, because he's not as bad as Richie Grant. Even though Richie Grant played pretty good this game, your corner depth is bad because D. Alford was picked on the entire season, but you only got 4 picks. So you only got 4 picks. Most likely Grady Jarrett is gone. I wouldn't even ask, to be honest. Yeah. I would just say, hey, we're gonna bring you back one day, give you the 1-day contract. You'll be up in the rafters in the Ring of Honor. Okay, but yeah, you endured all this. I'm not gonna hold you for hostage, and I don't think we can really trade anything for him. So yeah, it might be a cap casualty. I think we can save like $12 million or something like that, or $10 million if we cut him. So before the fiscal year come around, so we got to do something to alleviate this salary cap. You know what I'm saying? Oppression that Kirk Cousins is now, because he said he want to stay. He said I'll be a backup. I think they're gonna make that decision for Kirk, and when all of that money occurs on it. One thing I want to ask y'all counterpoint: would you keep him until June the 1st so you can split that salary up 2 ways for 2 years, or you just saying get the heck out of here and accruing all up?
No, definitely.
If you don't go to Cleveland.
Well, there's a rumor that he may want to go to Cleveland, but again, they got oh boy, Money Banks. You know what I'm saying? He's not going anywhere on Watson until something legal or something like that. So I just kind of look at it like if we don't spend all our resources either in free agency, we did it this past year. I think we need to improve it. The only thing on offense I would say is, we got Rondale Moore coming back. People forgot that. So our offense is going to be super healthy. Super healthy. The defense needs to be addressed. Pass rusher, middle linebacker who can play side to side, but stout in the run, know how to peel off of blocks, know how to read the A and B gaps good. Don't get caught up in a wash. Someone that's a real linebacker. I've been eyeing a couple of guys on pass rush. The dude Abdullah out of Penn State, Walker for University of Georgia, a linebacker that can cover from sideline to sideline, and also pass rush. So I don't think we're going to be high enough to get those guys. So we're going to be drafting around 15. So we got to work some magic. Try to make a trade to get back into the draft. I don't know if you give up a future draft pick to get back in this draft, depending where we are, because we got a second a first, second, fourth, and sixth, right? I'm correct, right? It's four picks.
I think
we,
so.
we
Yeah.
have. Hold on.
I think you're right.
Hold on.
It's the first, second. We gave up the third for Judon.
First, second, fourth, fifth, and seventh. And we do have a seventh. We do have a seventh.
Okay, all right, cool. So, all right, so we got 5 picks. We can work with that. It's not as bad. It's not as bleak as I thought it was. But yeah, please, if I see wide receiver on the draft in the first and second round, I'm calling. I'm hitting you up, Steve. On what's the name? Let's get on right now. Get on here right now. If we draft another tight end or something, now, I like that tight end out of Penn State. Don't get me wrong, but
I know, right?
We can't afford it, guys. We can't afford it.
Yeah,
we can't afford it. And I'm with you. I'm getting rid of the donkey. See, I don't call him a unicorn. I call him a donkey. So I'm definitely trading the donkey. Someone brought up on my stream. They were like, "Well, Kyle Pitts going to be kind of cheap, and if you're strapped for draft picks, are you really going to make that move?" And I see what they're saying.
Yeah,
but Charlie Warner played more in more, like run situations where obviously a running team. He's definitely a huge factor to Bijan opening up holes. As he was our best, I would give him offensive MVP of the season. And yeah, I mean, I'll give Zach a pat on the back because regardless on some of the calls, the jet sweeps we called early in the season, as the season got along, he got more accustomed to the team, and the offense was trying to lead the team more than the defense. So,
hey Terry,
I'm gonna tell Arthur, look, we got a game better this season, and with my superior drafting and Raheem motivation, we're gonna outrun the. No, we don't bring that motto back. No, we don't bring that motto. We don't bring that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that.
Rise up. We're gonna rise up.
Hey,
What's up,
Terry?
Steve? What up?
Can I ask Larry one question? One more question.
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As Terry won't know, Caleb McGarry. This is one of those they can get out of the contract year. He has one more left. What's your thoughts after what you saw? Old Jacqueline, I say old, but obviously revitalized Davion Clowney do against McGarry today. What would you think about that position at right tackle? Michael's blind side. What would you think about that as far as
all right? Terry 1. This is Terry 2. Terry 2 has always been against Caleb McGarry. You know that. I know that.
That's true.
But what I will say is, since we're so strapped with cash, I don't foresee us replacing him next year.
Okay.
Now, am I drafting his replacement? You dang on right. I'm drafting his replacement. But he only had 3 years on his deal. He only make $11 million for a starting right tackle. That is extremely cheap.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a blinder, a rear view mirror on Michael Penix's right-hand side. Okay. And objects may appear closer than it seems. Okay. Because that back door right there, man, like, hey, look, they coming. Like, hey, Clown ain't looked that good since he was with the Rams.
Dude, South Carolina. Go further. Go back further.
Yeah. Like, it was crazy. Like, I'm like, hold up. Is this the Gamecock version? Is this the version where you got Aaron Donald and what's my guy, the other pass rusher came from Denver name? When you had those two Hall of Famers on there, and he had easy run.
From Denver.
But anyway, yeah, he's never looked that good before. So yes. Miller, yes. So yes, wow, I definitely think we need his replacement. I think he's a cheap option to keep. And he's Bijan's best friend. Our best runs on the right-hand side. So I understand. I definitely want to protect the future. But if we can't get a guy who is at the very least as good of a run blocker as McGarry is, I would keep him right there because right now this offense needs the best friend of a young quarterback is a dynamic running back. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know me, I was, you know what I'm saying, against a luxury pick like Bijan, but Bijan is one of the top 3 running backs in the league. So that is a good green check mark under Terry Fontenot. Even though, and I'm gonna say something that's controversial. I'm trading Algiers for something so I can improve.
I was just about to say that, man.
Easily.
I was just about to say that.
Because while we all love Algier, if we can, you know, pump him up and be like, look, this guy is a top of the line starting running back. And it's kind of the situation like I talked about before. Bijan is LT, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Algier is going to make somebody a great Michael Turner, you know. But we got LT. Yeah, we got LT. Yeah, and guess what? What if the Cowboys can't pay that money?
Exactly.
And we just say, you know what? Guess what? We're gonna eat it. We're gonna eat a lot of contracts, and we're gonna go get Micah. We give you this running back. We give you something else, and you make that deal. Now, is anybody mad then? Hey Terry, is anybody mad then if he's able to pull off? I don't know how it will work money wise, but that would be.
Now, if we get rid of Algier and we could get what's that boy out of Arizona State, Skatebow, in the draft and one of the later rounds.
Look, I'm not worried about another run. I need a good backup running back. I don't need a luxury. If I can turn Algier into a healthy corner, like a solid. If you want to keep Mike Hughes, that's fine. He kind of got injured, so he was in and out of the lineup. I don't know. I might want a more solid, you know what I'm saying, guy right there next to AJ. But if I can get a good quality middle linebacker is kind of like safety too. You want those guys to be cerebral and be able to, you know, play both sides. So if I look at it, I may want a middle linebacker to be a veteran and then get me, you know, a hot shot outside guy. If you can't go get, you know what I'm saying, an elite talent in a trade. But yeah, I think Algier maybe package up Algier and Pitts, you know.
Exactly. I'm calling
2 for
Jerry.
1. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I don't know, guys, but I definitely feel like there are options, but it all depends on if Terry's retained. We need to hear on Monday Terry has an extension. If Terry doesn't have an extension, I don't know how Raheem survives it unless Arthur Blank put that whole thing like he does other things. You're going to work with this guy because I like him. You know,
I agree.
And I don't think that's healthy either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's healthy to force one part of the partnership to go with the other if they didn't come in at the same time. I think that's a bad habit of what we have. And on that standpoint, I would agree with you guys if you're going to fire Raheem but keep Terry. I think that's a toxic type of relationship where you have where either owner is choosing over one, you know, entity of another. You know what I'm saying? The first time he chose Arthur Smith and said, I'm going to fire you and keep Terry. Okay, we get a new coach. Hey, Terry, do you really like him? Involve Terry more in the process. I feel like that Raheem was Terry pick. You know what I'm saying? He kind of expressed that, saying it was too. I know Arthur Blank on it, you know, try to pump it up because how the media and fans were saying that Terry wasn't really involved or didn't seem like he was involved. But yeah. And sorry, Kerry, go ahead.
All good.
Sorry.
Gary, welcome to the show. My one time for the fans podcast mate. How you doing, Carrie? You all right? You hanging in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as good as I can be, right?
All right, so Carrie, I'm gonna throw you in the fire right away. You are Terry Fontenot. You are the GM of the Atlanta Falcons. Give me 3 moves you'd make.
Like off-season moves, or are we talking draft? Or
Off-season, yes.
Okay, for me, I'm going all defense. I need an edge rusher. I need a linebacker with speed, and I need a CB2 to line up with AJ Terrell. Those are my 3 top needs. I'm tired of the turnover for CB2. I feel like we keep having these 1-year rentals. I want a guy that can line up with AJ and be a solid number 2 CB2. Linebacker, I just feel like last week it was a prime example. We couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. We have no speed back there. And yeah, obviously edge rusher. I mean, we're projected with the 15th pick to take an edge rusher, but I don't know if that's really. I'm not. I don't even get my hopes up, to be honest, with the draft anymore to draft a defensive player with our first pick. But those are my 3 picks. I feel like those are all needs for sure.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You're the GM. Is Jimmy Lake hanging around? Terry Carey?
No. I mean, I already tweeted out I'm looking for Steve Wilkes. I mean, I like Steve Wilkes. I would like Steve Wilkes. But I don't know. No, Jimmy has to go. In my opinion.
Jimmy's got to go. Hey, I agree.
Terry had the one-word answer. She's like, no.
I'm sorry. No,
Straight to the point. No.
I'm trying to hold back a little bit. I'm not trying to say anything rash because I know, like you said, Uncle Steve. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Larry. Shout out to everybody in the panel, actually. But I know you said like people are being rash, which I get that. People are upset, and I'm upset too. But I'm not gonna say fire Terry personally. That's me. I want stability, just like I wanted stability at the quarterback position. I want stability at the head coach position. I feel like, firing Raheem is just starting all over again, and I'm tired of doing that. If we want to start winning, you can't just keep hitting the restart button. I think we can win with Raheem in charge, but this offseason he needs to make some adjustments as far as like, T. Will mentioned as far as like thinking he's the smartest man in the room and his ego, in interviews and, questionable play calling or questionable like decisions he makes sometimes with leaving the timeouts out there. And things like that. But I think he can lead this team. He's very likable. The players love him. He's loved around the league. I feel like he just needs. Personally, I think he made a mistake by bringing his buddies for the coordinator position. He should have set himself up for success by getting coordinators with experience. He went with 2 rookies. So I think that was a mistake. So for me, I think he needs to go with somebody who has that experience at the DC defensive coordinator position, personally.
Good deal. Well, Carrie, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And welcome to the show. Carrie's from One Time for the Fan. Let me tell you something. Best producer in the business, keeps us going, keeps us up to date, keeps us relevant, and keeps us on topic. And she is definitely a keeper. So
I appreciate that. Thank you, T. Will. I want to say, I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but I did see 30 minutes ago they released the info that Raheem will speak to the media tomorrow, but Terry Fontenot will speak to the media on Thursday at 11 a.m. So I think a lot of people are questioning, like, well, will Terry be let go or will he be given an extension? I don't think he's going to be fired either, or like not given an extension. I think he will. Personally, I think he will be given an extension, and especially he's being, talking to the media days later. So that's my take.
Yeah,
Great
Carrie,
point.
if he was talking tomorrow, then I would worry. But if he's talking Thursday, he ain't going nowhere.
Exactly, I agree.
All right, James Holloway. Thank you for waiting patiently, sir. You are Fontenot, James. You are the leader of our Atlanta Falcons, the GM. You have been emboldened with the powers to make this franchise better. Give me your first 3 moves, whether they're signings, getting rid of folks, drafting people, and let me know if Jimmy Lake is staying. Terry, go right ahead. Terry James, go right ahead.
Well, the first 3 moves is getting rid of one of our fan favorites, Grady Garrett. It saves $15 million on the cap. That's for 1. For 2, I will get with the scouting team and get with Raheem as well to see what's the necessary needs to make that defense better. That's for two. That would be edge rusher, linebacker, corner, things like that. And thirdly, I agree with Uncle Steve. I will resign Simmons because he'll be a cheaper option at a veteran minimum at a good rate.
Mhm.
And the last thing I'll do is around the draft, see what just see what the best player at corner is available, or at the linebacker position with Michael Williams because that's a dog. I want him in that Falcons uniform
Okay.
to see what I need to do.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you for that. Antonio, you out? Antonio?
Okay.
Oh, dang.
Oh, hey.
Antonio, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. You are the Atlanta Falcons GM. Give me your first three moves.
Well, I have to agree with Larry. First of all, like I would give Jerry Jones a call, and I would offer him Tyler Algier because they desperately need a running back,
Mhm.
and I would give him Pitts too. If we can get Mika Parsons from him, I would definitely make that move. But outside of that, Judon got to go. Grady definitely got to go. I agree with re-signing Simmons, but if we couldn't get Mika Parsons, like my first thing, we would have to get a true edge rusher finally, because it's like that's been like the spot that we've been avoiding like forever. And then after that, I would get a CB2, and we definitely need a linebacker. But I would definitely sit down with Raheem and have that conversation. Like I don't know if y'all remember, but when Morgan Freeman and what's his name, Benson, when they had that conversation in that little room where he had to let them know who the HNIC was. Yeah, we would definitely have that conversation. Yeah, we would definitely have that.
Are
We
you
would definitely
talking
have that.
about Joe Carter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would definitely have to have that conversation because
Oh, wow. Well, you can
You
call
used to
me
call me
Batman.
crazy. Now they call me
Oh, wow.
Batman.
You
yeah,
can call me Batman. Wow.
because whether
Okay.
he realized it or not, like Raheem is a direct reflection of Terry. So wherever Raheem go wrong, they automatically look at Terry. So me and him will really have like damn friendship. Like I gotta have my job security too, so I need you to do your job. Point blank, period. And that's an understanding that they really need to get. Like I'm all like, the more I look at it now, like I understand about y'all wanting to have the continuity and the stability and stuff like that, but between how they basically programmed us, like when Raheem was when he was hired, it was like they introduced him like Terry was, the guy that actually brought him in here. If you go back and look at how they basically staged it. So we would have to have that conversation. Like if you want to have any type of, stability and continuity here, you're gonna have to get it together. We ain't got nothing, because the thing about it is when you go, I go. And it's not gonna be nothing that like he's gonna have a choice in the matter. Because when you go, I go. But as far as like I believe Terry can do the job. And from what he's showing us so far, he can get people in here. He can definitely do that. And he's definitely a good negotiator. But even when it comes down, like even offering something to Cleveland, like if they can get Cousins out of here and get him to go to Cleveland, I'll be on some BOGO deals for real. Like I'll be on some buy one, get one. Like if you're gonna get this guy right here, you're gonna have to take him too. I'm just keeping it real because right now, when I really look at our defense, we have a lot of excess baggage. And I'm talking about high dollar excess baggage that we can actually get rid of. So when I look at it from that standpoint, then yeah, I'm totally revamping this defense. Totally revamping it.
Well, all right. Thank you, Antonio. Cowboy.
Yes, sir.
I need to know what you are Terry Fontenot. You are the GM of our beloved Atlanta Falcons, sir. You have been emboldened with the power cosmic. That's a Marvel reference. You've been emboldened with the power cosmic to do what you need to do to make our Falcons team better this year so that we can not only cross the threshold of the playoffs, but that we can ascend and go make a deep run. Give me your first 3 moves and let me know if Jimmy Lake is staying for dinner or if it's time for him to go because he's the weakest link. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, I'm gonna address this Grady Jarrett thing first. And I've heard it from numerous people that Grady Jarrett needs to go.
He do.
I want to make it clear. Grady Jarrett stays. Grady stays. I'll take leading by example over somebody calling out somebody because they're not doing their job. I'll take my leading by example over and production over anything. I want my players producing on the field. If I want somebody to stand up and be that leader on that field, I'm calling on Jesse Bates. He started out being that last year. For some reason or another, he stopped. But anyway, my first move, I'm going after the right tackle. After the day when I saw Penix take that hit off of McGarry's miscue, I clenched. I cringed. I knew Michael. I mean, I knew he was gonna get up. He's tough, but I don't want Penix taking no hits like that. That was if Clowney was in his younger days, that hit probably would have been worse than what it was. But anyway, I'm looking for me a right tackle. I'm going through this free agent list: William Avery, Kyle Pitts, Troy Anderson, Eddie Goldman, Lorenzo Carter, Ross. What is his name? Delaney, the tight end. Yeah, I'm looking for replacements. William Avery, I think he just solidified his spot because he can field the ball without fumbling. I can hopefully find somebody that can do that, and as well as put us in better field position and kind of put some excitement into the special team. Special teams did very well this year. I want just a little bit more excitement. So, but yeah, William Avery may have to get replaced. Maybe even what's his name? What's our number 3? Got his name.
Jesse Bates.
No.
You can let Avery go when we especially get Rondell Moore back.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but William Avery, he'll definitely be on that list. I'm actually going to go look in the draft. I'm going to look for another edge rusher as well, even though we have Braylon Trice out there injured. I want to see what he got, but just in case, I'm going to be looking for somebody else. Not saying I want to replace Trice, but I honestly want to see what he got. But I'm going to keep my options open on that end. Matthew Judon, he's suspect. So not saying that I will replace him, but him along with a few other guys, we're going to go in the closet and have a coming to Jesus moment in the closet.
Not the closet.
Oh man, we have to, brother.
In the closet. Oh, you're in the prayer closet. See, nowadays you got to specify. You're in the prayer closet.
Got to keep it in the closet.
Yeah, that's a different kind of closet. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You know what? Pause.
Well, not that closet now. Not that closet. Prayer closet. Prayer.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but I want to see what DeMarco Hellams what he still got. But we got to go out there and find another CB2. Got to. All this juggling to replace, to do what we got to do at the number 2 side. I think at some point that's going to come back to bite us. I think it already has.
It has.
So, but yeah, we got to find out. We got to get something solidified on that side. What's his name? And also, I'm going to keep my eye on a player that's coming up in the draft that could very well go undrafted. Hope he might not, but he could go undrafted at that wide receiver. What's his name? Respirero from Miami Hurricanes. I'm gonna keep an eye on that cat. If he goes undrafted, he coming to the Falcons.
Okie doke. Well, I tell you what.
Oh, one other thing, one last move.
Go ahead.
Raheem Morris and all of his coaching staff, All of them going to summer school coaching 101.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. I think we got Ron left. Ron, are you, or did you drop off? He dropped off again. Okay, well, guys, look at that. Everybody.
I didn't get to do mine.
Wait, who?
King Richie.
King, you didn't? I thought you went for. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me apologize. King.
I
Richie.
was just saying keep Raheem the first time. Then you had went on, but I didn't want to interrupt.
You know what?
Nobody.
You no, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, sir. King Richie, you are Terry Fontenot. You are king of the Falcons. Give me your first three moves. Who's staying? Who's going? And is Jimmy Lake staying, or is he on the first thing smoking? Go ahead. What are we doing?
Well, first thing I'm doing, I'm going. I can't even say it with a straight face. I'm about to say first thing I'm doing is going to get me a wide receiver and a tight end.
Oh wow. Okay. You're joking. Okay. All right.
Nah,
okay.
but for real though, I'm gonna be honest. And the only reason I'm gonna say this is because every mock draft that I done did, it still has Jalen Walker falling. So if I know I need a linebacker, I might just go on and pick him up, even though it's not per se just because he played for Georgia, but he's actually a good sideline to sideline linebacker. So I'm thinking everything I would do would really be for defense. I think the only two things I would really do for offense is a right tackle and get Penix a real speed receiver, like 4.1, 4.2 speed. But every move I make will have to be defense. I mean, linebacker, edge, and honestly, I want to go get a real zero tech. No, it don't matter what scheme you run, you still need a zero tech somewhere in there to eat up space. So I want us to go get a big D lineman, and I'm gonna tell you what made me say that, because I was watching that Baltimore game, and that lineman that he threw that interception to, that was a big boy. I was looking at him, I was like, ain't nobody on our team that big.
I just didn't want him to stop running though.
I know but it's just when you look at players like that and you look at these real good teams, say what you want by Kyle Shanahan, but he had that defense over there humming at one point. And they defensive line always have at least one person that's at least 350 pounds. 360 pounds. Now, whether he play or not, that's neither here nor there, but he's there for if we need to use a space eater. So I'm more so everything defense. And I'm going to be honest, Jimmy Lake was gone out of my mind probably like 3-4 games ago, just because, because even if that was, okay, I say it like this, even if that was you, just say it wasn't Raheem and it was you them last 4-5 games, where was that the first 11?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to the last game, and now you want to go back to what wasn't working in the first 11 games. Like I told you, right when all I be wanting to see are like the first 3 to 4 plays from the offense and the defense. When I seen that defense base was 3-4, I knew it was gonna be a long day. Because
Jimmy Lake look like somebody that to say like what had happened was.
And I mean, it's just ridiculous because it's like, okay, Raheem, I'm not faulting you as far as, even if trying to put your homeboys on right, you could at least put them in the best position to win, is basically what I'm saying. Good and well you've been here with Grady Jerry. He sucks in a 3-4. Everybody know that, but when you put him in that 4-3 where he's supposed to be, you get production out of him. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, Jimmy Lake got to go. Somebody got to take the fall for this. I'm sorry. It just, I get it. It's like defense have been lackluster all season. At least with Zach Robinson, I seen spurts and flashes. of what offense can. Yeah, they just gave us almost 40 points. So I'm not really all on. I think that's more chemistry. But this defense, that defense is straight coaching. Because, like I said, I'm gonna say it again. I watched the defense they gave up on their defensive coordinator right when the game started. They tired of playing in that scheme, and that to me that was them silently bucking the system to a certain degree. Because I know y'all can play better than that. I just watched y'all play better than that in the last 3 to 4 games. So to me, that just means Jimmy got to go because you done lost the morale of the defense. And I think that's it. Just we got to make defensive moves. Our offense fine. Don't even touch the offense for real. So just get a right tackle and a speedy receiver and call that a day. We don't need to go offense crazy in this draft.
I think Jimmy he'll try to fight Raheem.
Good deal. Well, guys, we're at the 3-hour mark, and unfortunately, I have to go and make the world safe for everything wireless. So we're going to have to bring this podcast to a close. I do want to thank everyone who joined. I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining. You guys could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to spend this time with us. We thank you. Guys, before we dismiss, I want everybody to just, if you are a content creator, tell them where they can find you. If not, tell them where they can find you anyway. We're going to start with Mr. King Richie. King Richie, where can these folks find you?
Oh, y'all can find me at Dirty Falcon Podcast. You know, I'm getting everything together. I'm going to set everything up this off season to get rolling.
All right. Well, thank you for that, sir. Cowboy, where can they find you, brother? Are you muted? I think you're muted.
I am muted. I was muted. But guys, appreciate y'all having me on with you. I enjoy each and every moment. I did a video today too to extend that appreciation with you guys for you guys having me on your shows. So make sure y'all take a look at that. But y'all can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Once again, man, I appreciate everything. Y'all showed me what I need to be, what level I need to raise my game up to. So look for me more once I get my podcast started. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys. So y'all can help me because I know you guys are already there. So y'all can help me get to where I need to be so I can keep having fun doing this thing.
Absolutely. And hey, man, having worked with you before and working with you today, it's I think I echo the sentiments of everyone when I say, hey, we're in good company. And the world needs to see your content, man. So keep doing it. Uncle Steve. Now we know where we can find you, but we want you to tell us anyway because we love you. Uncle Steve, tell us where we can find you.
Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Y'all check me out tomorrow. I'll have the Monday Minutia on. I think it's going to be around 6:00, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we did today and hopefully what we do into 2025 as far as these Atlanta Falcons are concerned. Yes, another year ended, but folks, we're going to do it again, man. Y'all, we can stomp, cry all we want. Y'all know we'll be back. And so will I on Uncle Steve's Lounge.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, sir. Mr. James Holloway, my first time meeting you, I gotta say it's been a pleasure. Enjoyed doing the show with you. Mr. Holloway, tell these folks where they can find you, sir.
They can find me at Atlanta Bird Gang, the Eye Test channel. Mainly I'm in those groups. You can catch me Wednesdays on the Eye Test on the YouTube channel, and also Waffle House on Friday nights, and film sessions on Mondays and Tuesdays on Atlanta Bird Gang.
All right. Well, again, sir, it's a pleasure podcasting with you. Say that 3 times. And thank you for joining us and really appreciate that, sir. Really do. We're going to keep this thing rolling. So next we got, who do we got? Oh, no, we got Larry the Dixon Way. Let me give you your propers. Hang on one sec. Let me give you your propers. There you go. Larry, tell these folks where they can find you, even though most of them know, but tell them where they can find you.
I appreciate you having me on the stream as always. This is some good conversation. We all want our team to win.
Yep.
We may disagree on how it's going to happen, but we all want to see this final result with a parade down Peachtree that the buses ain't gonna go too fast. So, I mean, we were out in Cobb County, so we didn't experience that. But I feel sorry for the people who did get it.
Oh, Larry is a card. Oh, Larry is a card. Oh man.
But
Okay.
I mean, you guys can find us on the Dixon Way. Me and my beautiful wife do commentary for all our Atlanta sports teams. Hawks been kind of rough on the road right now. LA and the Clippers got their backs blown out.
Yeah.
But hopefully against Utah, we'll have a better game plan. We'll come out. It shows that Jalen Johnson and his health is crucial to this team being better. But yeah, Falcons season is over. But yeah, we still got other games to watch, you know what I'm saying? The Hawks, the Braves will be up sooner than you know it. Spring training will be here.
Yep.
And yeah, at the end of February. So yeah. Just keep on keeping on, man. Thank you guys for having me on. If anybody's on here that, you know, never seen someone's content, then just go over there, check them out. You know what I'm saying? Give them a like, go subscribe and stuff. Because we all help each other grow. And nobody's right or wrong except for Rich McKay. But no, other than that.
Wow.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I love it. Hey, we
Bye,
appreciate
Larry.
you
Thank you
joining
so
us, Larry.
All right, Larry.
Miss Carrie. Miss Carrie, tell these fine folks where they can find you.
Hey, T-Well. Thank you for having me on tonight, even if it was just for a short time. But great show, and you can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. My name, Carrie, C-A-R-R, Lynn. Oh, sorry, IELYNNXOX. That's my Twitter handle. I talk Falcons on there, and I talk Man City soccer as well. And then yeah, you can catch me on One Time for the Fan, usually Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, and sometimes I'm on Friday mornings. But yeah, if I'm not there, then Bodie, Jack, and T Will are holding it down always. Thank you for having me on, T Will.
Oh, Carrie, hey, I love it when you're on, and we love it when you're on there, and it's great, and you bring great energy, and you know it's just fun, and you're the best producer in the business, so there's that.
I appreciate that. Thank you
And
so
we
much.
appreciate you. We appreciate you. All right, guys. So, hey, you know what? Thank you. If you like what you saw today, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue bringing this great content to you. Please like, share, and subscribe at 4 My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. The number 4 My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring this great content and discussions to you. Now, if you missed a lot of what we talked about, the good news is you can go back and watch it. The even better news is we'll have a show tomorrow morning with myself and Beard Gang. And we'll be talking about this all over again. So join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Again, I got to thank God. Wouldn't be here without him. I got to thank everybody in the chat. Last but not least, I got to thank Mr. Jack Spade and Mr. Eric Parker for giving me a start in this business. Guys, to all who participated, thank you. Rise up, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.